Is this love? Yahweh, don't drop me. Don't drop me. Why, Lord? Yahweh, don't drop me. Don't drop me. Why, Lord? Don't drown me. Please give me a sign. So what have I done? Yahweh, just tell me. Just tell me. Why, Lord? What have they done? Yahweh, my family. Why them? What could we do? We didn't know the fucking angels was on the menu. We didn't partake in angel boom, but still we die. You're a fuck, Yahweh, you fuck me, I'm no more. It's not fair, he's not all of me, not of me, no more. We're drowning, save me. Don't drown me. Don't drown me. I want to live one more time together. We live our lives more time. Please change your mind. Is this love paying for crimes or crimes are not mine? Is this love paying for crimes or crimes are not mine? Yahweh, we're dead for no one. Yahweh, we're dead for no one. Fuck your dose! This June 5th, will you remember those who sacrificed so you can have your banana? Will you remember those that stood up and those that didn't? This June 5th. Remember the horrors. Remember what happened. God bless and never forget. Hey, Jesus?
Hey, Zach. Surprised to hear from you.
Well, you know, I was kind of bored. I was just sat around and I was thinking of you.
Really?
Well, of course. I always am.
How's it going?
You still there?
Yeah, I was just blushing. Heart's gone all flutter. I just wanted to say,
You go first.
I love you.
I love you too. Hey, Jesus. Can I ask you something?
Of course, my son.
What are you doing?
You know, just revealing stuff.
You know, like, what are you wearing? Something revealing for revealing? Yeah.
I mean, you know me. Something light, some light and airy, simple white linen. How about you?
Yeah, just a cross.
Seems like my father being a carpenter has really taught me how to erect wood. Seems a breeze has really caught my linen. Really only being held on by the wood I have erected.
Really? Yeah. Jesus, I have a sin to atone for. I appear to be touching myself.
Come unto me, my son.
For us, it is okay. What up, yo? Hello, everyone out in the void. I'm Zach. This is the Shaking Fist, and it's Monday, so I'm going to be making funny stuff. And today, it's the Bible. I'm coming back with my Religion Unravelled series. How y'all doing? It's good to see you here in this particular stream and not the one that I set up before, because I, being the consummate professional, fucked up everything. So, I think I might be able to actually take down the other one now. Yeah. So how y'all doing? Y'all looking forward to reading the Bible? No, there is no dancing girls. But I did make love with Jesus, and I feel like feeling the holy protuberance insert itself into me is so much better and enlightening than any dancing girl could ever be. Word up, yo. She's only right though. It wasn't crazy. It was factual. It's what happened. It happened, but only, a while ago. and of course, considering that, June 5th, the end of the Great Gombe Chimp War was only but 4 days ago. I thought for one last time we should come together and we should remember the lives lost in the Great Chimp War. The very documented chimp war where tactics were used and all sorts. It's amazing. People who haven't looked into the Gombe chimp war are, I'm going to move my camera a little bit. I'm missing out by not looking into it because it's mental. Could I be wrong? I mean, I was a little drunk at the time. He could have been Jesus, but it was awful convincing to me. Oh. Yeah, I've got to get rid of this other fucking this other stream. Oh, I signed out of YouTube because I'm a twat. Oh, I do this so often. I'm so bad at technology. So very bad. Because I said, see, the thing is, right, is because I forgot to connect Eve Mux, my stream. So then I made a new one and everything fucked up. So, and I've been trying to correct everything ever since. So you'll have to give me a minute. I haven't got my Bible up just yet. Because I did have it up, but that was on the other thing. Oh, I've had a week off because of both being ill and other things, and I could I've come back and I can't remember anything. Was anybody else with me? I mean, Jesus was. We were together, like in Holy Communion, together, intertwined, bodies wrestling with each other, naked, sweaty. Occasionally, the back would rub against, the chest, and you'd hear little farting noises. You know what I mean? So, it's yeah. Well, yeah, it's always good not to be in a hospital. But when Jesus is pumping you from behind, it's,
You don't need a hospital when you've got Jesus.
No, you don't need a hospital when you've got Jesus. Jesus fills you with his holy light and cummies, and it like heals you. It's cool. It's like the slight anti-depressant effect that semen has on the vagina. Well, thank you very much. So, I still haven't brought up my dibble. So today, I don't know where I'm gonna stop. I might stop at Lot. I don't know. We'll see. I'm definitely getting through the flood, which will be fun. I like talking about the flood because the flood's fun. As he is constantly he's constantly thinking about the input. He thinks about the input so much that he loves to go on other people's channels and complain that they're thinking about the input and not him. It's totally him not thinking about the input. And when I say input, I do of course mean one penis into one butthole, and that's just to start with, my friend. This guy goes hell for leather for all the penises in all the buttholes. That's what he does. He likes to slobble that novel. Great days. Right. Genesis. Oh. Of course, the dog waits to eat them food right next to the microphone when I started streaming. So if you can hear that, that's my dog eating. She waits.
Not really is the slobbering of the novel.
I mean, hey, if you like, you're not supposed to say such things like that. YouTube will get done and think that we're doing sexy time things.
You can't see it, so
yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, it's so good. Does it do anything for you? Huh? You shouldn't, because it's my side. Jesus does like his holes. He does. He does, but that is also why he doesn't like the small candies that keep on falling through. It's the oldest joke in the book, but hey. But it does mean that he can have more hand sex with people than anybody else. Get them. See, you need both of the hands. See, come on, this thing's not taking it. So you get the holes there, and he gets both of them, and then he treats both of his hands like a vagina, and he treats his asshole like a vagina, and then we start calling it his bussy. You see. Oh, you really do you want to be part of the twink community? Is that it? Do you really wish that you were part of the twink community? I mean, you could be part of the twink community. You've just got to, embrace what you are inside. When you embrace what you are inside, well then, no M&Ms for Jeebus. No cake for the Imperator. We're not on Moses yet. We're on Noah. And speaking of the Ark in Noah, I have embraced what I am in the inside. That's why I am the way I am. You see. So whatever. Wrong one. I think you mean Numbers is like that, because Numbers is the recap one. Deuteronomy, is it? Or am I being, yeah, because Deuteronomy is more like Leviticus, if I remember correctly. And it's fun. Deuteronomy is the one that was Josiah found in the 7th century, which is much later. I can't embrace what's inside. It reminds me of that Discworld thing. So there's these 3 witches, basically the 3 witches that fucking from Shakespeare. Magrat, the like, she's like a new age type witch, making fun of them. She goes, you don't want to see if you could see that red meat does horrible things to your colon. If you could see the inside of your colon, you'd be horrified. It's like, do you know what I would? Because it's my colon and it should be on the inside. Even though technically, in a biological sense, actually, your colon's on the outside. So that's something you should think about. You know what I mean? That fact that you're from your mouth little you know where you put the penis in. You put the penis in there, rub it around a little bit. You give it a little ball fondle, a little tickle. The cummings get shot into your mouth and they go through your digestive system, right? Through your esophagus, down into your intestines, down through the colon, and down out the butthole. Where it's trying to reconnect with the penis coming in. You see, to try and go back inside the penis as the penis is going in, and the penis slips up But the thing is the whole. So technically, actually, the whole bit the whole point is all of your digestive system is on the outside of your body. Mental. So, I have to share the screen. So we're going to start, because last time we covered all of Adam and Eve. We covered Cain and Abel. Good. It's good to see that it checks out, because we all need to check each other for being wrong. That's the whole point. Yeah, I'm onto a few things. I have pieced a few things together. I look at the world. Wow, why would you say such horrible things to me, John? I thought we were friends, and in fact, I am not on something. I am high on life and drugs. What was I going to say? But today we're gonna. So today we're gonna, because I have. Oh shit! All right, I already have one open. Let me just close the one I have. Oh, that one. And then I can share the screen. I'm so good at this. Share. I feel like I need another mod. Who wants to be a mod? Never see Crystal anymore. I need a mod. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Sweet. Lexington's phone says I am here. That you can hear me. Wow. And I thought we were best friends. I'll tell you. Right. So, as per usual, for those that don't know, wow. Oh, let's pause that. Won't you, miss? Start coming on, slagging off my girlfriend. Go fuck yourself. Well, that. There's no need to be mean. So. Yeah, if I was closer to John for his birthday, I would actually buy him a big wooden spoon, a very big wooden spoon, and maybe a pot to stir it in. So I, of course, am using the New Revised Standard Updated Edition because that's what the scholar uses, and if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. And I made the stupid promise of saying I am actually gonna read every fucking word of the Bible, right? Because I said last time I was going to keep track of shit, and that was far too hard to do, so I'm not doing it. So I'm just going to read it and talk about the things I know, and maybe read some other assorted texts if I can be bothered. Because to be honest, there's a lot of Mesopotamian texts that are kind of intermingled in one way or another, and I was kind of thinking that what I might actually do is I might get through Genesis, and then once I get through Genesis, and before I move on to Exodus and the other bits of the Pentateuch, what I'm going to do is I'll then go back and read things like I'll read through the Enuma Elish, I'll read through the Atrahasis, the Tales of Gilgamesh, like not all of it, just the bits that are important or the bits that are interesting. Because to be fair, there is actually it's some of the bits of the story, just for an old fantasy tale, they're actually quite good. So I might read some of those bits. There's like the tale of the. There's also like some comparison things that are quite funny that I like. What's it called from? Was it the tale of the birds and the fish, or something? The debate of the bird and the fish and stuff like that, and the sheep and the thingy, where it's basically like the sheep and the shepherd or something. That and like and like
To be fair,
To be fair.
To be fair. To be fair.
I couldn't help it. But they like debates about and Enlil will come in and decide them, and some of them are quite interesting. I'll also go through and I'll go back and I'll read some of the extra biblical books that are connected with it. So there's the Apocalypse of Abraham. There's many there's many different versions of like the story of Adam and Eve and stuff like that. I'll go through them at the end of Genesis. I think that'll be not just easier to do, but I think it'll be more productive because we'll have got through it all. So today we get the fun of starting on a really shit part of the Bible. And because I was foolish and said that I would read every word, that means I have to read all 32 verses of Genesis 5. So, Genesis 5 is just a genealogy of... Because the whole point of Genesis is that God isn't the God of everything. He created stuff, right? But the thing is actually, we're supposed to more go off Genesis 2, where it's just the garden, and he creates more two people and stuff. And that's why it keeps on coming to the same family. The same... I already said. I'm just talking because I don't want to read it. It's boring. But the overall point is that this is all laying claim that this family is everyone in the area, because everyone in the area was the world. You see, so when God created the world, He created this little tiny Levantine area in Egypt and stuff. It's not like so. It needs to be looked at a little different. It very much is, sir. It very much is. Hello, Dave. How you doing? I need to. I wish Eve Mux had like a fucking like a little button, like more like keyboard shortcuts to play clips, so I didn't have to fucking search for him because I didn't because yeah. Anyway, so here we go. I'm not playing right now, Pippin. I'm sorry. By the way, like, subscribe, do the YouTube thing. Sure, join in. The link is pinned in the comments, not in the comments at the chat. Oh Jesus, this is gonna be amazing. Jesus, come to me and fill me with your horrible light, and let me be able to do this properly. I meant to say holy. I can't say anything correct. I'm a bad boy. I'm a bad, naughty boy. So let's read the fucking Bible and get on with it.
Buckle up, buckaroo!
Anyway, so... Oh, I didn't click on the thing. I've clicked on my music maker. I'm having a great day today, can you tell? Everything's going well. I'm doing well. There's no panic. There's nothing going wrong. Everything's good. How are you all doing? Is it good today? Right. This is the list of descendants of Adam. When God created humans, He made them In the likeness of God. Really, it doesn't say likeness in the original. It's image. An image doesn't mean likeness. Image means we are supposed to worship each other because we are the images of God. The image is supposed to be the godlike figure that sits at the head of the temple, at the head of wherever you might, worship, you do your sacrifices. The image of God, so you see the statue, the big statues of the guy with the bull horns, it's El. That's the image of El. It is his physical embodiment on the earth. And Yahweh says that he doesn't want something like that. That's why he was not supposed to know what he looks like and shit. Because we're supposed to treat each other like him because he made us. Male and female, he created them. Except for all the people with the fucked up chromosomes that make different things, Because not everything's as simple as XX and XY. But of course, God being all powerful and all knowledgeable, writing and inspiring this back, 2,000-3,000 years ago, knew all about genetics because he in fact made them. Cool, right? When Adam lived 130 years, he became father of a son in his likeness, according to his image, and named him Seth. Because Adam was made in the likeness of God, not just his image. And Seth is also likeness of God, trying to show that God, it's them basically restarting because Cain killed Abel. So, and that's why I can't remember if it's the apocalypse of Adam and Eve, like the story of Adam and Eve come from or whatever. Because they go, what? That's a long time for them to not have kids. And it's like, so they made up a thing where Adam and Eve, after they leave the garden, they separate for 90 years and then they come back together in one glorious union and go, they do the Casablanca thing at the start and go, I can't remember the speech, but you get on that plane, you're going to regret it now, you don't do it. And then she goes, they come back together and they love each other and they have so many children. The days of Adam after he became the father of Seth were 800, and he had other sons and daughters. Thus the days of Adam that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. Don't you find it weird that we don't actually get any real solid information in the Bible itself about what happens to the first two people? It's weird, do you not think? The first two people that existed, but they get a couple chapters, but it's not even really about them and what they're like or what they do or how they learn. You know what I mean? It's interesting. When Seth had lived 105 years, he became the father of Enosh, and Seth lived after the birth of Enosh 877 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Thus all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. Hey, man. Right, one, Pippin. Stop it. You gotta go lie down. Two. Oh, we've got a gourd believer in the chat. Not in the chat. In the thing. Mr. Swift, you're jumping the gun. I haven't even got to the flood. Do I allow Brett Keane on? What do you think? What do you think, people? Do I allow Brett Keane on? Because he's sat there in the background. He wants to come on, and I don't know. Because I know what he's like. I've seen him for a number of years. How about this, Brett? We get to talk about the flood, and only the flood, right? And if you talk about anything that isn't the flood, and any disrespectful bullshit because you're trying to start shit, I'm going to start calling you the manatee, right? Isn't that cool? I mean, you're muted. I can't hear you. Yeah, no, what we can speak in the background. I'm saying, are you okay with those rules? No. All right. One if by land, two if by sea, three is for the manatee. Hey, he forgets that people might remember what things he did back in the day, and that's why he creates a new channel every 5 fucking seconds. So the reason that fat griftery lying fuck is called the manatee is because back in the day he used to have his fat manatee face on the screen, and then it would be all blue because he'd be in a room, so it made him look like he was underwater. That's why he started getting called the manatee. It's because the blue screen on him with no lights made him look like he was underwater, and it was a joke. Anyway. When Enosh had lived 90 years, he became the father of Kenan. Well, from like Kenan and Kel fame. Oh, here it goes. That's the wrong song. The beginning was right, and then I forgot the actual theme tune. Coolio did it. I remember so that much. But yeah, Kenan and Kel were great. Who loves orange soda? Kel loves orange soda. He's a bit Christian now, isn't he? It's so, it's so weird seeing Kenan on SNL. Because I used to watch Kenan on what was it, fucking All That back in the day, and it's like, wow, 30 years and you still do the same show. Cool. It'd be great. It was like all the old cast members from like fucking on SNL now that we used to be on like fucking All That and shit. That would have been great. Enosh lived after the birth of Kenan 815 years and had other sons and daughters. Thus, all the days of Enosh were 905 years, and he died. When Kenan had lived 70 years, he became the father of Mahalalel. Kenan lived after the birth of Mahalalel 840 years and had other sons and daughters. Thus, all the days of Kenan were 910 years, and he died. When Mahalalel, I can't say that, had lived 65 years, he became the father of Jared. What, like from like Subway fame and pedophilia fame? Infamy, I suppose that would be. Where's Jared? He's over there beating that dead horse. Mahalalel lived after the birth of Jared 830 years and had other sons and daughters. Thus the days of Mahalalel were 895 years, and he died. When Jared had lived one... Yeah, that was all that. The one I was trying to do was the Kenan and Kel one, because the Kenan and Kel intro started with Coolio going, "Oh, here it goes," and then I can't remember the rest of it. I remember them sitting on a couch, and they were on like the big circle globe thing that they could sit in, and they looked all cool because it was the 90s, and they had hats. Oh shit. Thus the days of Jared were 962, so close to 69, and he died. When Enoch had lived 65 years, he became the father of Methuselah. Genesis, they put all the incest right in your face. Yes, well, to be fair, when that's all you have to start with the incest twice. You get that genetic bottleneck in... Wow, 13 views. That is the highest I've ever had on the show. Thank you all for viewing. Why don't you like, subscribe, share to other people. Do the YouTube things. I am but a small channel. Yeah, Methuselah is the new world record. Well, no, technically Enoch is. Because Enoch walked with God after the birth of Methuselah, 320 years and had other sons and daughters. And thus the days of Enoch were 365. Enoch lived for 365 years. That's the number of days in a year. Oh, it's so true. Even Abraham married his sister. Yeah, you know when it suited him, I suppose. Sorry, I couldn't hit the mute button. And then Enoch walked with God because he was no more, because God took him. And that was the other book I was trying to think of before. When I get to the end of Genesis, I will also be reading through some of the book of Enoch. All 3 books of Enoch. And the books of Enoch are a bit iffy because we only have them like from the Ethiopian church and a few other places. We don't really have old versions, but we know it did exist. So, and there's some really interesting shit in there. I think people, because I also want to point out where people take stuff from these extra biblical books and then pretend they're in the Bible. Like the biggest one I hate is when people use the disciples died for God, for Jesus, and it's like that only happens in the extra biblical books. So, but sticking to the flood. Because God took him. When Methuselah lived 187 years, he became the father of Lamech. Methuselah lived after the birth of Lamech 700. Yeah, I've got a book of it over there. I've not fully read it, and I'm kind of saving some of it just to like experience it at the same time as everyone else. I think that would be interesting because I've read some of these other extra biblical books and heard stuff about him. And I mean, I've heard some stuff about the Book of Enoch. That's why I'm interested, but I've not read it fully, so it'll be fucking. Yeah, well, Thingy went back and he had the video of what actually happened. God gave it to him personally, so he could make the film. Because the only way to really capture that magic is to make Noah. I can't even remember his name. Drinking, fighting, in movies, fighting around the world. Fucking hell! Fucking hell, Tugger! How dare you! Interrupt me during my heart-wrenching soliloquy. Fucking hell! I can't remember his fucking name. Something Russell something. Russell Crowe.
That's it.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's Russell Crowe. You see that over there? That's a Chinaman, and they can kick 7 feet high. And hello, Christopher, and hello, Andrew. And welcome everyone. Like, subscribe, do the things. Enjoy this festive Bible study because it is the festive time of June. And thus the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. Oh, nice. That's what I hope. I like to be the hip happening place to be because I'm a hip happening guy. I sit down with the chair. I sit down like everyone else with my chair backwards and my hat on sideways like everyone else. And I put my Becky cheese on one foot like the other. Because I'm a modern boy. Modern boy. Anyway, I smoked before. It affected me a lot more than I was expecting. When Lamech lived 182 years, he became the father of a son. And you see how the language is different? Because now it's important. He named him Noah, saying, "Out of the ground the Lord has cursed this one, shall bring us relief from our work and the toil of our hands." Wow. What a thing to say before everyone dies. Before everyone and everything except a few people on a boat dies. Out of the ground, this is the one. Like, come on. Wow. See? He said it before it's a prophecy. Do you love prophecies? Do you love prophecies? I love prophecies, especially prophecies that happen in the same book. You see, it's more true because he said something was going to happen. Do you see? And it's dramatic irony because we know the flood's coming. Don't you love dramatic irony? I mean, to be fair, a little bit of dramatic irony from a, 2,000-plus-year-old book. Not bad. Not bad. Fair play. But, Lamech lived after the birth of Noah 595 years and had other sons and daughters, and thus the days of Lamech were 777. You see, they're all sevens. All 7. And, numerologists are fucking idiots and, get hard over that stuff. You know what I mean? Because it's all sevens. It means things. Have you seen the way this number 7 looks? I mean, if you look at a Monster can, the Monster Energy drinks, did you see? Do you see? I've got a monster energy. You can't hear. Do you see? Do you see? You see? I saw it on the internet, right? You see that? You see that? That's not an M. I don't even know if you can see that. But where are we? You see that? That's not an. This thing is shit. This isn't an M. That's 3 6s. 666. It's not energy drinks. It's devil jizz. Did Noah have 3 kids in 1 year? Multiple wives? I don't know. I meant to click on that and I clicked on something completely different. Maybe acid in my younger years was a bad idea. My hand-eye coordination is dick. I need to get back into my poi. Did he have 3 kids in 1 year? Let me read that. Well, no, because it just says after he was so after Noah was 500 years old, Noah became the father of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So it doesn't mean he had it when he was 500. It's saying that after he was 500 because we're gonna move on to chapter 6. Everybody excited? Everybody excited? You know, excited to not be talking about genealogies. You know what I mean? Because genealogies are shit, right? They're really boring. And we're finally moving up. We're going to move on to the flood.
And there was much rejoicing.
See, I'm getting better with this. I'm getting better. I'm getting better with butter. That's I said that. Oh no, Genesis. I don't need to go on to other books. Thank you. The wickedness of humans. When people began to multiply. That's scroll down for no reason. Yeah, I love that. I love how unenthusiastic those cheers are. And that's why I like EDF so much. That EDF cry reminds me of that EDF, EDF. And if people haven't played EDF, then you like third-person shooters, then you should play EDF immediately. All of them, because they're all the same game but better. It's like Dynasty Warriors if it was a third-person shooter, really, isn't it? But like better. The text is super small. It is. I fucked it up somehow, and I don't know how to fix it. So I'm not going to try and fix it during stream. So I'm not going to. Oh, you mean that bit? Yeah. I was on screen. I was being. Whatever. So, let's scroll down. When people began to multiply on the face of the ground, and the daughters were born to them, the sons of God. I mean, why are they saying the sons of God? God didn't have any sons at this time. You know what I mean? Like, come on. I know it's trying to say that it's God's family and blah, 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 blah. And they took wives for themselves and all that they chose. Then the Lord said, my spirit shall not abide in mortals forever, for they are flesh. Their days shall be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went into the daughters of humans. Oh, he's talking about angels. I'm being dumb. You bore them to them, and these were the heroes that were of old and the warriors of renown. Do you like how they're like trying to claim Gilgamesh and like these different big you know what I mean? If you think of a big warrior like from back in the day, it was totally ours. Don't worry about it. These people are just nicking it, and like that was the golden age. You gotta love the golden age. It's like the first age of Middle Earth. The whole fucking. It's just like God allowed. So we're supposed to be under the understanding that angels, you know, are like fucking what's it called? That angels are like, you know, don't have any free will and they have to do what God says all the time because God tells them to do things, and being angels, they have to do it. So when the angels went down and started fucking things, I'm like, you notice how it's not like going, hey, you see these angels made of many eyes and wings and all the stuff, right? You see how it's not telling you about those kind of angels. It's trying to infer that the angels were at least human enough for the humans to fuck, right? So these were humanist-shaped things that came down and fucked people that were apparently, because it was added on later, under God's auspice, so they have no free will. So God let them do it, didn't command humans not to do it because he hadn't made any covenant with them, and he hadn't made any law for them, so then he kills everyone. Cool, right? I go to click that. We're winning. When the Lord saw that the wickedness of humans was great in the earth, and that the inclination of the thoughts of their hearts was only evil continually. And the Lord was sorry that he had made humans on the earth, and it grieved him to his heart. Genesis 6:6. 6, anyone? Says very specifically that God is not omnipotent. Write that in your copybooks now. This is a thing that can be said against any Christian, any Jew, any Muslim that wants to say, hey, God, maybe not Muslims a little bit less because they follow the Quran, but they also believe in this bit a lot more because, Abraham's the split. But the thing is, right, these people, this one line, Genesis 6:6, says very specifically, God is not omnipotent. God does not have omniscience. So if he doesn't have omniscience, then he probably doesn't have any of the, omnipowers. So if that's the case, well, then I guess one Braxton Hunter is correct then, isn't he? There would be a God of limited power. Because Genesis 6:6 says that he isn't. He is not omniscient. But then again, I suppose that's why people that aren't fundamentalists almost completely ignore Genesis, except for when they're speaking to their fucking children. It's great. It's like these people think that this bit of the Bible is for kids. You tell the kids about the man in the boat and the first two people in the rib, because telling them that the rib is better than telling them that we came from storks or whatever, right? So we use Genesis to lie to the children, and then later on we tell them that it isn't true. And then if they become fundamentalists because we brainwash them into thinking that Genesis is true, well, then we'll ostracize them and make fun of them for being too Christian because they're not the correct Christian. So we need to all remember Genesis 6:6. Genesis 6:6, super important. So the Lord said, I will blot out from the earth the humans that I have created, people together with animals and creeping things and birds of the air, for I am sorry that I have made them. God laughs at me a lot. He does. He does often. No, because people put all these bounds on imaginary characters. It's fun. They put bounds on them and then say, hey, even though he's all powerful, he himself actually can't do all the powerful things. Only the things we think are plausible, even though God works in mysterious ways. It's fun shit. Great days. And why the fuck do you why do all the living things have to die? Right? Why? What? So humans were bad. God was very certain that all of them were bad. All humans were bad. Every single one. Right? That's why I like that song. That's why I did the Yahweh Don't Drown Me song. It's like, really? Every single human was evil. Every single one of them. All right. Fuck them all. So then also we get to kill the gazelles and the zebras and the sloths and the orangutans and, and the echidnas and the fucking nematodes and the fucking, the threadworms and the flies and the mosquitoes and the spiders and the fucking, and the fucking, the clams and the fucking scallops and the scrimps and the everything. The birds, the blue jays, the red jays, the blue-footed boobies, the great tit. I love a nice set of great tits. Ooh, lads. My point is humans are bad, so kill everything, right? And I think I know why. I think it's because Adam gave them all purpose. If Adam gave them all purpose, then their purpose must be evil because all the people are evil. I kind of think that's what it's saying. I could be wrong. You know, if you think I'm wrong, right, and you're not a cunt like Brett Keane, and you want to talk, about you want to talk about the flood and Noah, well, why don't you click that link and join in? Or if you want to make fun of it with me, click the link and join in, and we can make fun of the Bible together. Either way, you know, I'm nasty until I talk to people, and then I'm nicer. I might talk over you a bit, but that's the ADHD. You gotta live. You gotta deal, because I can't. You're wrong again. Well, Mama's wrong again. It's the medulla oblongata. uh, so, and do you know what I also like? He doesn't say plants. Do you notice he doesn't say plants and fish? Because I don't think he counts animals, because like animals were created in a different day than fish, and I don't think that fish are counted as animals in the Bible. So like God, who made everything and knows how everything works, is he himself saying that raising the water won't kill all the freshwater fish, and it won't kill a bunch of the saltwater fish. All the water going over all the mountains won't kill all the plants, because they don't understand that would happen, because they look in the sea and see seaweed and think the grass will live under the water. A sign in itself that the Bible was written by people and not God, because these people just wrote about what they saw. That's why they said, "Oh, you see, there's a firmament up there. It's a dome thing that's above this flat land, right? It's all blue. It's water, because the water's blue. Sometimes the sky's grey, and you've seen the grey water. The sky mimics." When the sky's angry, the water's angry, and when the sky's calm, the water's calm, and vice versa. They're the same thing, right? A bat is not an animal. No, I think they would consider a bat a flying thing, or maybe even a creeping thing. But I think they would consider it a flying thing. Yes, yeah. So I just think that that's also important to point out, that this, in fact, shows that God doesn't understand biology and the things that he created. So again, God doesn't know everything, and God doesn't know, like, actually what the fuck he's talking about. Um, so I do. So I definitely do think that, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time about Josiah and Deuteronomy, because I am with Israel Finkelstein and Neil Saber Asherman, when they talk in the idea that the Deuteronomy is definitely fucking was written during the times of Josiah. But the thing is like, it doesn't the size of its bed doesn't matter, because beds were mainly made bigger so people could fuck in them. Giants to these people literally meant Nephilim. And when we're talking about later on, when we're talking about like the types, like the likes of Og and stuff like that, they could just merely be like more normal sized because of nutritional differences. But to be honest, I think more than anything, I think the stuff of like Og and Goliath is just, they were just bigger than them, because like Judah itself is a very arid place that isn't good for farming. So these people were malnourished, and malnourishment leads to stunted growth. So like, if you're 4'5", 4', like 5 foot, and you're facing off with people nearly 6 foot, maybe 6'3", then it would seem like they are fucking like massive. But also, the whole thing's fake, so it probably didn't happen, and they're just trying to say it's big. But yeah, don't worry, you didn't. I don't mind a bit of derailing. A little bit. It's me that gets bad with it, because I can, if I don't stop myself, I can talk about King Josiah's reforms and Hezekiah's reforms, or Hilkiah's reforms. I always get them confused for ages, and I'll go on about it, and I'll go on about so much. Well, the thing is like, so I am being derailed. So it's all right. So yeah, because like, I don't know about Og specifically. I can't remember what Og's from. But with Goliath, the Goliath is the Philistines, and the Philistines were most probably the Sea Peoples, and the Sea Peoples were actually a bigger people. They came from what we think was maybe the Aegean, and like they just waltzed over everyone. So like, even if they weren't that big, they would seem imposing, and you just make them taller to make them scarier, don't you?
that is assuming, of course, that David was real. Because, a single potsherd that says, the house of David does not the house of Israel make. But Noah found favor in the sight of the Lord. I'm back onto the Bible, if you didn't notice. Basketball Jones. Hey, it's no basketball. Basketball, one of the best films ever made. I'll die on that hill. I don't care. I really like shit comedies, don't I? All my favorite films are just like shit comedies. And basketball's not shit, but it is.
Yeah.
I mean, like, my favorite film is like a shoestring budget film made by a couple guys in college. You know what I mean? So I suppose my favorite Terry Parker film is fucking Cannibal as well. A little bit, so there you go. And these are the descendants of Noah. Noah was a righteous man and blameless in his generation. Noah walked with God. He walked with him. God does a lot of appearing before people back in the day. Why can't he do that now? It's not fair. Like, like, how are we supposed to look? Yeah, but that's much later. Much later. Don't start me on the Celts. I'll start doing Nat McFeagle. Anyway. Blameless in his generation. He walked with God. So do you not... yeah, well, that was my point. Do you not... that's the wrong thing. I keep on... I don't need to open anymore. That's the thing, right? Why is it that most people that are against that? Why is it that, like, fucking God can walk? He can walk with Enoch, and he can walk with Noah, and he can talk with Noah, and he can talk with Abraham, and he can do all this different shit, right? And he's all, and now we say that's the thing. He's not all powerful, so he really only can speak to a person at a time, can he? And he's used up all of his power early on. Maybe the Mormons were right. Maybe you do become a god, and you have like limited power, and it's like Black and White. Any of you remember the game Black and White, where you was like a god, and you had like a little avatar animal, and you controlled people, but you had like mana, and gods ran out of mana, and he ran out of mana creating Jesus. So we're all on our own now. What if God? All right, here's a crazy hypothetical. What if God's real? Right? What if God's real? And fucking word. What's the word I'm talking about? What if God's real? And he made Jesus, and he got really angry that we killed Jesus, so he just left us alone. And then we made up all the stuff afterwards. What if that's the case? No, Yahweh's not Sauron. Yahweh is Morgoth. I mean, he's really a Iluvatar, because Lord of the Rings is totally Christian mythology, wrapped in fantasy. But yeah, and I love it nonetheless. It's just such a filled out world. It makes me feel like I'm reading an alien planet, and I like it. I don't care. Yeah, Jesus used it all in his resurrection, and God was like, "You fucking son of a bitch." He's like, "Hey, you chose her. Be all week. I flew in from Montreal. Boy, my hand's tired. Oh, there we go. Jokes." I like the video. Right, where was I? Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight, and it was filled with violence. All the violence. And God, when is it? Why is it? Why are we less violent now than they were then? It's because he did it once, and whatever. Oh, come on. Oh, God saw, and God saw the earth was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted its ways upon the earth. So the flesh that God made corrupted things, because God made bad things. God made things that literally infected the earth. And God said to Noah, "I have determined to make an end of all flesh, For earth is filled with violence because of them. Now I am going to destroy them along with the earth. Make yourself an ark of cypress wood, and make rooms in the ark, and cover it inside and out with pitch. This is how you are to make it. The length of the ark is 300 cubits, with its width 50 cubits, and height 30 cubits. And that in itself sounds nothing like the Atrahasis. So if you were to read the Atrahasis, and you were to read, Atrahasis is in the Enuma Elish. I always mix that up. That if you fucking, I mean, I fucked up, so I fucked up what I was saying. So if you read the Enuma Elish and you get to where Enki comes to Atrahasis and says, he tells them to make this very bow. What? Yep. It's almost word for word. But hey, it's not nicked from the Bible at all. That's why, right, these fuckers have got to say, oh, it's not plagiarism. It's not plagiarism. They aren't taking it. It's just like it. And because it came before, you see, these things came before. They're just telling the same story, but differently. I love how the story can come first from another religion, another 3 religions, mind. Actually 4, I think. Well, we got the Atrahasis. Sorry, we got Atrahasis in the Enuma Elish. We've got was it Zarathustra in the fucking oh my god, I've forgotten all the names. The Marduk one. Oh my god. So you've got Zarathustra in the one about Marduk. You've got the Eridu Genesis. You've got it's also mentioned in the Sumerian king list, and which I forgot to mention when it came to genealogies, and I'll get to in a second. And I'm sure there's another one on this. Gilgamesh, the Tales of Gilgamesh. Yes. So we've got 5 different versions of the flood that came like over 1,000 years before any of this was written. But if we claim it for ourselves, well, we still believe it now, you see. And because we still believe it now, then it must be true because we still believe it now. You don't see people going around still worshipping Marduk because it was false, right? This one's true because it's really old. Don't worry that people still follow Zoroaster or anything. Like, religion just got to an age where it could just be, and people like, it's really old. I don't have to understand why it's wrong. That's why doing Bible studies like this are very fun. Because when a Christian does a Bible study, they don't read the whole fucking thing like this, do they? Of course not. Right? When a theist, it could be a Jew, it could be a fucking, a Christian, it could be any of them, right? When they come together to read the Holy Book, they don't read the whole fucking thing. They read little bits of it. And they don't read it in order. They go, well, we'll take this bit from John, and we'll take this bit from fucking this book, or we'll take this bit from this surah, or whatever, right? And they take the bits that they want to talk about and put them together like it's the whole thing, right? That's why it's important that we actually continue. Oh, it's repetitive as fuck. And that's why, like, the atheist fucking YouTube fair can be a bit shit sometimes, because we got to keep on saying, my arm is not being seen. We got to keep on saying the same shit over and over again, right? And since we're going to keep on saying this, since we're going to keep on saying this shit over and over again, it gets repetitive, right? But we have to, because these people, they thrive on saying the same shit over and over again. And they thrive on lying about the same shit over and over again, right? And since they do that, we need to constantly point it out, and it's never going to end. Ever. Even if we fucking got rid of religion, we're not going to get rid of people's stupid thinking, because we're all humans. Humans like to think stupidly. It just never ends. It just never gets any easier. So, yeah, I was going to put something on, and I didn't click on anything anywhere quick enough. So, small rant over. Make a roof for the ark, and finish it to a cubit above, and put the door of the ark on it in its side, and make it with lower and second and third decks. Like one Kenneth Ham, who fucking Ham, who look, I made it. Look, I made an ark, and it's on land, and it's got cement in it, and concrete, and all this other stuff, and it's got electricity. But it's the ark, you see. It's the ark. And do you know what's great? We made wooden boats that were bigger than the ark, and they don't survive because of the tension of the water churning and the ripping apart because of the length. That's why the bigger ships need to be made of a harder material, because the ocean is strong. Have you seen how big it is? Those currents go on for a long time and gain a lot of power. Yeah, but that's the thing, right? It's supposed to seem magical. That's the problem, right? It's supposed to seem magical, and people back then they'd think it would last, because these people probably weren't thinking of elephants, rhinos, giraffes, all these. I said that really posh. Giraffes. Other big animals like that. They weren't thinking of bears and different shit. Like, they were thinking, we live in a shitty desert area. There's about 5 animals. They're all lizards, maybe some goats. You know what I mean? Like some rabbits and stuff like that. They weren't thinking about everything, and we are. We are about Revelations is not nonsense at all. Revelations is in fact the most true on high forever and ever. And those that don't believe it are cast from the tree, they wither, they're cut from the tree, they're gathered to the side and burned. Like Jesus said. So hop to it. Where am I? For my part, I am going to bring a flood of waters on the earth to destroy from under heaven all flesh in which is the breath of life. Even that is on earth shall die. Everything that is on earth shall die. Everything! Plants, animals, fishes, the little bunnies. The people were evil, and we're going to kill the little bunnies, the little bunny babies, and the little echidna babies. All the little babies. God's going to kill of the animals, because fuck animals, they don't matter. Adam denied them for his partner. Animals don't matter. Kill them all. Start again. Fuck them. Right? There are footnotes. Yes, there are. Then there's poor Job, yes. Yeah, but see, the thing is, the part of Job is not to make you worship Job. The point of Job is to make you scared. That's why you're supposed to say, I'm a God-fearing Christian. Because God might pick on you. You don't want the Almighty to pick on you, right? Be afraid. Be very afraid. He is coming directly for you. And if you don't watch out, it's the whole point of Santa, isn't it? You know what I mean? He knows when you are sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows when you've been bound on God. So be good for goodness sake. The whole point is training that God is watching you all the time. Be afraid of him. Why aren't you afraid of God yet? Like, come on. I clicked on.
Stop! Blasphemer!
Like, it's the whole point. Clicking things. And of everything, of all flesh, with you, they shall be male and female. Clicked off the thing. Of the birds according to their kinds, and of the animals according to their kinds, of creeping thing of the ground according to its kind, 2 of every kind shall come to you and keep them alive, and also with you every kind of food is eaten, store it up, and it shall be service food for you and them. Noah did this, and he did all that commanded them. So, let's take a nice, let's take a nice little moment to show that God right now is saying 2 of every kind. Hello, welcome, good day. We're talking about the flood. How you doing? I'm going to put just remember that right here, Genesis 6:20. 2 of every kind, right? I wonder what he says in the next chapter. It's almost like it's different. Maybe it's not the next director. Maybe it's one of them, though. It was indeed. Kind of. We don't, because we don't know exactly the dates of most books. So because our oldest texts that we have are the Dead Sea Scrolls, and that's only the 2nd century. So from oh my god, think about Ehrman does textual criticism and stuff like that, and like reading through, looking at the verbiage and different shit. Maybe it is, but we also think that the Song of the Sea from Exodus is actually the oldest part of the Bible, and we actually think that it does go back to something like the 10th century, maybe the 12th century Israelites. We're not 100% sure, but some of the verbiage does indicate that to be the case, or something to that measure. But we're not 100% sure. I mean, let's be fair, it's not snakes. And they see right now in chapter 6, God's saying that it's 2 of every animal, right? So it's every animal. It doesn't, whether they're evil or not, doesn't matter. But yeah, it was a lizard. It was a lizard that got his legs removed. There was already snakes. Yeah, very true. See, the thing is, right? When I was originally thinking of doing Religion Unraveled, I might still do this in the future, because I have a Religion Unraveled channel that I might start putting edited versions of these on. I was thinking of actually maybe going a bit more in depth with stuff, because one of my original ideas was really to track it and fucking keep and shit like that, and actually go through different versions and compare what they say. But I'm lazy, and I tried setting it up to do that, and it was so much effort. The KGV is mental. But I think the KGV does a disservice to what I'm trying to talk about, because the KGV really ignores a lot of stuff. But maybe. I mean, I'd like to see where you think that it has a post 1200 BCE origin. I'd be really interested in that. Oh, sorry. I read post and heard pre. Yeah, it would be after 1200. All of it is. But I mean, because our first mention of them is 1207 BCE. So I'd be surprised if it was before then, and I'd be surprised if it was very much after as well. But Old English, what isn't good enough for Jesus? Old English was the devil's language, and in fact, once upon a time, you could actually be put to death for reading the Bible in English. So I don't think it was good enough for the Jesus. Right, need to get on to the next chapter. I wish it just had a next button. You know what I mean? Does it just have a next button? It does. It's right there. Chapter 7, The Great Flood. Then the Lord said, Go into the ark, you and all your household, for I have seen that you alone are righteous before me in this generation. I want to know why Noah was so holy. It doesn't say why Noah was holy. What makes Noah holier than the other people? I know it's inferred that the other people were fucking the angels, and there's Nephilim, but it's also, they were all violent. Was Noah not violent? Was Noah the only not violent person? I don't understand. I wish we could get more context in there, but of course, it's the Bible. Why would you expect anything like that? The Lord then said, Take with you 7 pairs of clean animals, the male and its mate, and take a pair of the animals that are not clean, the male and its mate. So, and 7 pairs of the birds of the air also, male and female, to keep their kind alive on the face of the earth. So 7-3, 7-2, 7-1. 6-22, 6-21, 6-20. So 6 lines. That's an impressive contradiction. I want you to write that in your copybooks now. Write that in your copy. I just need that. I need that, don't I? Just isolated. No. I'll get onto that in a second, Ligma. No. No. Wrong. You're close, but wrong. At least I think so. I'll explain in a second. What was I saying? So it's impressive. 6 whole verses that separate that massive contradiction about what happens with the animals on the ark. Mental. I just think that should be pointed out, and people should take a note of that. That the contradiction about how many things is only 6 lines, because of course, what's it called? Because of course, the 2 different stories put together to say different things. And when this is finished, one Dr. Jennifer Bird has on her website, I think I can't remember if she said she did it or one of her friends or students, whatever, has separated them, according to what they think they are from like the priestly source and I think it's the Yahwist source, something like that. So, like, I think you're close. I think you're off though. It's not Genesis. I think the Hyksos story and the Hyksos being driven out of Egypt by Amenhotep is the third dad. Oh my god. But when they draw out the Hyksos, I think the driving out the Hyksos is the Exodus. And the Hyksos that start, or they either start or like the first or second, somewhere in the first 2 or 3 leaders is Jacob. So I think the Hyksos is the story of Moses. I just think you're a little late on that. That's all. I think the Hyksos then joined the Apiru, and then eventually, after the Sea Peoples came and took over everything, they took advantage. Yeah. I just think I don't think it wasn't Abraham in them. I just think it was a little bit later. That's all. That's why I said you were close. But yeah. No. This 6 with each. No, there's 7 pairs. So there's 7 males and 7 females. It's like it's trying to overpopulate the earth with good things, not the bad things, trying to not infect the earth, because the Lord doesn't know how it's going to work out. Because the living things literally infect the earth with that's what it said before, wasn't it? You know what I mean? And I think that's what it's trying to clean animals. Well, no cloven hoof and shit. So, let me put this on. No, I had to scene. I keep on clicking everything wrong. I should fix my computer, and maybe that'll help. You know what I mean? Maybe that'll help me along. So how y'all doing? Are you enjoying the stream? Is it fun? Is it informative? Or is it all shit? It's probably all 3. And where's my shit? I can't fill that. Yeah, you had to get rid of all those horrible, evil babies. Every single one of them. You see, some people fuck the Nephilim, and some people were really bad, so Bambi has to die. Little Bambi, little Nemo, all the tiny baby animals with the big baby eyes. Ken Ham has been convicted of fraud, hasn't he? Wasn't that the whole deal, or was he trying to avoid the case of fraud when he was selling the thing to himself back and forth for $1? So I kind of stopped keeping up with Ken Ham a little while ago, and then because Joe over at the Kentucky Atheist is doing the Ark Encounter fucking protest. I started giving a shit a bit again. But I thought that's what happened. That he was, or was he just? I can't remember. Was he trying to avoid fraud? I can't remember. By the way, you should all help Joe with his protest. You know what I mean? Go fund, do the things. Yeah, no. So he must have been avoiding it because, like, or was it tax things? Because I remember a few years ago he sold himself to $1 because they're like, well, it's not a charity organization. It's like, oh well, fuck it. It's not a non-profit, so I have to sell it to myself. And then it went back and forth. And I know there was something about it, but it's Ken Ham. And I start to think of Ken Ham a little bit like Ken Hovind and like whatever. But I suppose that's me being foolish. I don't know. For in 7 days I will reign on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, and every living thing that I have made I will blot out from the face of the ground. And Noah did all that the Lord commanded of him. Noah was 600 years old when the flood waters came on the earth, and Noah and his sons and his wife's sons and his sons' wives. Wait, no, yeah, I said that wrong. Noah and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives went, like how Noah and his sons came before his wife and all that. Because men are more important and the other ones are just property. What? Of clean animals and of animals that are not clean, of birds and everything on the crease in the ground, 2 and 2. Oh, right, yeah, I read that wrong. And after 7 days, the waters of the flood came on the earth. Oh, is it? Right. It was tax. It's still tax evasion. So it's close. It's close. It doesn't fill the bingo meter, though, does it? In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, on the 17th day of that month, all the fountains of the great deep burst forth. So the water came from the ground, and the windows of the heaven were opened, because it came from the firmament. The rain fell on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. And on the same day, Noah with his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Noah's wife and his 3 wives and his sons entered the ark. I mean, Ned Flanders is nicer, and like, kinda. He's still a twat, but like, Ken Ham is just a greedy cunt. Because baptism didn't matter yet. You have to wait. You have to wait for apocalypticists and for that to happen. Maybe that's what the flood was. God wasn't killing everything. God was just baptizing the earth. That's all. It's just baptizing the earth. I can't believe we didn't. It's so obvious. I can't believe we didn't see it before.
Oh, obvious. I'll grant you it's obvious. Trouble is, just because things are obvious doesn't mean they're true.
I just like the excuse to use that. I think that's a thing people need to remember more. Human intuition is terrible. Oh, wait, I'm thinking of William and Craig. Maybe. I don't know. He seems too much like a skeevy Bill Maher type. He's like a Christian Bill Maher. They act in the same like snobbish, like, oh, I know all the things way without really knowing much. That's fun. So 300 every kind of animal. They and every wild animal of every kind, and all domestic animals of every kind, and every kind creeping thing that creeps on the earth, and every bird of every kind, they went unto the ark with Noah, 2 and 2 of all flesh in which there was the breath of life. All those entered, male and female, went in as God commanded them, and Lord shut them in. Yeah, but you know, we stopped making noise. So not shit, I forgot his name. Enlil was nice and decided not to, you know, flood us anymore because Enki helped us. All praise Enki. Where was I? God says no more floods. I know, except for all the floods that happened. So where was I? So we see here that it says, you know, about the 7 animals and everything. And then, you know, again, you know, just like 12 verses later, 2 by 2, they went onto the ark. 2 by 2, because it goes back and forth. Because, of course, the Noah story is 2 different Noah stories put together, because most of Genesis is actually a compilation / omnibus of like different old Judaic stories put together. Because Genesis is actually one of the oldest books in the New Testament. It's always, I love that thing. It confuses so many people. God has changed his mind a lot. Because he doesn't have absolute anything. God shouldn't. If God had absolute, you know, authority / like knowledge / like morality, he wouldn't change his mind ever, because it would be absolute, and absolute means for all time. So because if he can change anything on a whim, if he can change his thoughts of how things should be on a whim, well, then that's subjective, and that makes everything subjective. Praise Enki indeed. Enki is always our friend. Enki is always human's friend. I've actually seen a few stories. I've actually seen a few scholars that try and say that Enki is actually Yahweh. Uh, you know, there's some interesting points there. I don't believe it personally. I think he's more an amalgamation of like Baal and El, and the gods of the steppe of like, is it Moab and Edom and stuff like that. I think he's an amalgamation of a few different gods, because of the tribe-like nature of the early Hebrews kind of melding things together. That's the best I can come up with. I'm reading the Bible. I'll show why. Mainly, I say mainly for this video. It'd be because I don't know, the amalgamated nature of the flood story. So that's cool. He blotted out every living thing that was on the face of the ground, human beings and animals and creeping things and the birds of the air. They were blotted out from the earth. Not plants, though, right? Because plants aren't alive. Interesting, right? Plants aren't considered a living thing. Either that, or because he says he's going to kill all the living things, but then he doesn't mention plants ever, even though all the water and lack of light for so long would certainly kill every little bit of the plants. Almost none of them would live, because the darkness and all the stuff. So actually, and like the salinity of the water that would be raised up because of the oceans would literally salt all the earth, and things would not be able to grow. So that's cool, right? And of course, if this had happened, we'd be able to see somewhere in the geological record, in one of the stratum, we would be able to actually, in fact, see the evidence of a worldwide flood by the salinity of the soil in one uniform strata across the entire planet. And if that wasn't the case, then the flood didn't happen, because the geological record is, I don't know, pretty fucking accurate for what's going on. Yeah. Oh, gotta click that button. And then I'm gonna click this button. Only Noah was left, and those with him on the ark, and the water swelled on the earth for 150 days. Not 40. 40 days, was it? 40 days. It rains for 40 days, and then the water swelled for 40 days. Swelling, of course, means rising. So then it's 150 days. Same chapter. Is it 40 days, or is it 150 days? Okay. Okay, that thing God took a rib from Adam is totally false. Well, if that's false, then what's the point of it being in the Bible? If it's a story about creation and the start of humanity, why is it there if it's false? I always loved that shit. If bits of Genesis aren't true, then why is any of it true? Like, you have to prove. Oh, yeah. Well, no, they had a tiny window, right? They had a tiny window that the poop could come out of. You know what I mean? Yeah. Let me put it on that one. They had a tiny window that the poop would come out of. And, not the poop, the smell. It's false woman and man. I'm the same around. Yeah, but Adam didn't. You see, Adam had one less rib, and he was like. Remember that myth that used to go around? I don't know how old you are. Back in the day, in the late '90s and the 2000s, there was a tale that would go around about Marilyn Manson having one of his a set of his ribs removed so he could blow himself easier. So that's what Adam could do, right? Where was I? 150 days, not 40. Bam. We're on to chapter 8. See? Flying through Genesis now. Flying. The flood subsides. But God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and all the domestic animals that were with him on the ark. And God made a wind that blew over the earth and the waters subsided. What? Really? So, one, there's three things. There's what I say. There's two things that I want to point out just about 8:1, right? Genesis 8:1. God remembered Noah and all. Like God just left him there. I think that's what, because like God walks with people and is with people, right? In Genesis, but then God remembered Noah and the ark. So like God just brings in the flood. It lasts, and then he just sits there on the water for a while. And God goes, "Oh shit, Noah." Uh, and then well, Adam. That depends what you mean by Adam, because of course we as you know the descendants. I can't remember the species that us bonobos and chimps come from. I should really remember that. But because we came from that, of course, we would come from, and the fact that we can swim from birth says that we probably came from the lagoons and wetlands of somewhere in Africa. And because of that, yes, Adam would be African. But genetic Adam that we found comes from what I remember, from what I found, is a fisherman in Egypt around the time of Jesus. And genetic Eve comes from about 12 to 15,000 years ago, something like that. I might be off by a bit because I've not looked at that for a while in particular. Possibly. There is another thing that we might have interbred with other species of ape that was around, because the Homo habilis and Homo erectus and all these different humans that went out and spread around, we were not the only ones. So like we bred with Neanderthals. Like my mom did those fucking 23andMe tests and shit. And it was scary, man. I was like, oh shit, because my mom got 10% Neanderthal, 10%. And then you remember, oh wait, they're not all as bad as people thought. So, I mean, yes, the moving to different latitudes, longitudes. Sorry, yeah, longitudes. No, it's yeah, because it's up. Yeah, different longitudes might have contributed, through just basic evolution of we don't the lighter ones live more, but also we did interbreed, so it could be that. Don't know. It's my best guess. I'm only vaguely, acquainted with such bits of information. So what I'm saying about that stuff is, taken with a grain of salt. As is most things, because I'm not trained in anything. I've just read a bunch of books and think I know my stuff. So, whatever. Like and subscribe. Hit that like button. Smash that like button. So the other thing I wanted to mention is that God made a wind blow over the earth and the water subsided. And this is taken from oh my god, I'm gonna have to look it up. I still can't remember it. Marduk book. Oh, just type the thing. I can't remember the name of his book. It's pissed me off. Oh, his is the Enuma Elish. All right, then, cool. So, in the Enuma Elish, part of the creation myth of the Enuma Elish is that Marduk fights with Tiamat, and Tiamat is salt water, and this is what God is portraying here: is salt water. Was it Marduk to defeat salt water? Calls the seven winds. And got so he made the seven winds blow over the earth. It comes into her and blows her up like a balloon, and then he then cuts her in half, and he makes the land and the sea out of her halves. And this is definitely a reference to look, God is Marduk, right? You praise Marduk for the things that Marduk does, but what Marduk does is actually our God, because we've got to remember that Genesis is an older compositional work, and since it's an older compositional work, it has it's going to have things from like the Enuma Elish in there, because being set into the diaspora during the Babylonian conquest and the Babylonian exile, they put a lot of that stuff in there. That's why you get like was it Genesis 1? I think it's Genesis 1 that's made during or after the Babylonian exile, and that's why it's like kind of mimicking ways that it happens. And this here is part of that, where it's taking from the Enuma Elish very specifically, saying, no, Marduk didn't make the waters up and conquer the sea. Our God conquered the sea when the flood happened. So, and the fountains of the deep, the white people went from the flood went north. No, that John is the most true thing I've ever heard. All the people in the land of Nod and all the other people, they were all brown, and then it was just Moses and his people and Adam and all them. Do you know what, John? I think you've just proved Mormonism, because those who sin are of dark skin, and those what was it, whitesome and delightsome. You become holy and pure, right? You get white skin, So I think we've just proved Mormonism. Damn, I think I have to become a Mormon now. Can I come knock on your door? We spoke to you about Jesus. Right. And the fountains of the deep and the windows of heaven were closed, and the rain from the heavens were restrained, and the waters gradually receded from the earth. So I'm going to stop halfway through that verse, because that's what the period is in our language anyway. So the fountains of the deep were closed. What is the fountains of the deep? Well, the waters that come up from the earth. They were. So what we're talking about here is the fact that the Abzu, which is fresh water, right? The fresh water comes from earth, doesn't it? Because there's salt water over here, but the water runs. You've got lakes, and the lakes have springs, stuff like that, right? So that's the water coming from the ground, right? So if you shoot it out more, but the thing is in Mesopotamia, and say like Assyria and different stuff like that, they had also had the thought about because Tiamat made everything when Tiamat combined with the Abzu, APZU or ABZU, not the game, and combined they made the chaos and all the things happen, right? So God separated them. So here, when he's saying part of the reason for saying that the spring has been conquered is because he's talking about the Abzu in which is actually a temple to the Abzu itself, which is in, oh my god, what's it called? Is it might be Eridu. I think it's Eridu, actually. Abzu temple. It's always okay to look things up. Akkadian. Send the Enki. Babylon myth. Yeah, Eridu. Yeah. So yeah. So when he's saying that the fountain was conquered, he's saying that he conquered basically that Yahweh conquered the Apsu, and not and Enki itself, because Enki and the Sumerian and Akkadian like takes over for the Apsu when the Apsu combines with Tiamat. Yes, 100%. I don't care if it's not true. Let's make it a thing. I want Cowboy Jesus. Send your pictures of Cowboy Jesus to my meme page on my Discord. Join my Discord. Let's make my Discord interesting. I'm going to start watching shit things on there. Want to start watching shit things with me? I'm going to start watching things like Rescue Mediums. And don't go spoil it. Go watch it with me. Rescue Mediums is the best fucking like show of people clearing out ghosts from houses you'll ever watch, because it's so fucking stupid and it's so dumb, and it's the best because it's just the best. And I'm going to start watching it very soon on my Discord. You come watch it with me. The link is in the description. Join my Discord. It's free. Like, subscribe. They are also free. I help the small channel. Help all the things. It's very much appreciated, even though I have a hard time appreciating people that do watch me. No, it's my fault. I always have a hard time accepting stuff like that. It's just me. I'm a twat. I love you all. Except Brett Keane. Although I kind of love Brett Keane because he's a lol cow. He's not a lol cow. He's a lol manatee. 1 if by land, 2 if by sea, 3 is for the manatee. Right, I don't need to speak about Brett Keane anymore. I should have brought him on. I should have let him come on and then put on the Brett Keane opera. Here in my dingy room, in a state of misery. Yeah, that's great. If you haven't watched Brett Keane the musical, right, or the motherfucking opera, go watch Brett Keane the motherfucking opera if you know who Brett Keane is. You need to know who Brett Keane is for it to be funny. Otherwise, it's only kind of funny. Otherwise, if you watch it and you know Brett Keane, you know his history, it is the most funny. But I have digressed, but again. Right. And the waters gradually receded from the earth. At 150 days the waters had abated, and in the 7th month of the 7th day the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat in the north. In the north, because it's funny if you look at where the arks turn up in Mesopotamian lands, it's in the south. It's in the south, usually in a place called Dillamland. And Dillamland was Dillam was an actual place somewhere on the Arabian Peninsula. Somewhere on the Arabian Peninsula near the United Arab Emirates and stuff, like on the top stuff in the actual Arabian Gulf. And like it was a real place, but a lot of ancient Mesopotamian places counted it almost like it's the land of the gods. And it was like a mountainous place, kind of like on a mountain or something like that. And fucking, it was like, it's kind of like also this Tale of Enki's Garden of Eden, it takes place in Dillamland. So I think it's a very deliberate choice that the Hebrews did. No, it was in the north. You see all the mountains up there. It was definitely up there. And you don't want to climb up those mountains to try and find it, do you? You want to go up there? Those are big mountains. You seen those mountains? That's a big mountain. I ain't going up that mountain. You know what I mean? Because like back in the day, that sort of thing was kind of seen as a barrier to like the end of the world, because like there's nothing. That's mountains. You can't go behind them. They weren't advanced enough to like really do it properly. I mean, people did, but you understand what I mean about the people at the time. I need to use this hand because this hand picks up by the camera more. But I'm right-handed. I should use this one. I'm right-handed. It's because the mouse is there. Right, yes. That's why. Oh, I need to put this back on. I need to take my face off. Take his face off. A joke is never not going to be funny to me. The waters continued to abate until the 10th month, and in the 10th month, on the first day of the month, the tops of the mountains appeared. So, at the end of 150 days, the waters had abated. And in the 7th month, the 7th day of the month, the ark came to rest in the mountains of Ariat. And then they continued until the 10th month. And in the 10th month of the first day, the tops of the mountains appeared. What? It's almost like he arrived on the top of the mountains of Ariat before they were visible. For 10 months. What? It took 10 months for the water to go down, for the ark, it's only 3 stories tall, right? To have its bottom out. And this is the most generous I can be, that it bottomed out and then the mountains appeared afterwards. But 10 months, the 7th month, 7 months, sorry. No. Oh, sorry. The waters, this is very interesting. Eh? Like, tell me if I'm wrong. How many times do you think the waters abate? So at the end of 150 days, the waters had abated. So at the end of 150 days, the waters were done. And in the 7th month of the 7th day of the 7th month, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ariat. And then the waters continued. In the 10th month of the 10th day and the first day of the first month until the tops. So, yeah, like, come on. And in the 601st year, in the first month, on the first day of the month, the waters had dried up from the earth, and Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked and saw the face of the ground was drying. And in the 2nd month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth was dry. Do you like how it's trying? It's trying to be very factual. It's trying to be very factual, trying to talk about, very specific dates because it's obviously true. You see, it's trying, like, cool. He waited another 7 days. Then he sent out the dove from the ground. He sent the dove from him to see if the waters had subsided from the face of the ground. But the dove. Pretty sure KT was clear on before that. Yes. Sorry, sometimes I got to read ahead a little bit to make sure that I'm reading what I'm reading right, because bits of this are jumbled and it confuses me because I'm a bit dyslexic. So then the dove sent out. Then see exactly. Then it's reading and out loud that I have problems with. I have problems with reading. I keep on skipping ahead because my brain's like, just fucking, you finish it. Just get it done. It's too fast. Everyone wants to do everything too fast. My brain's reading it so much faster than I can speak, and it fucks me up. I gotta read slow, and it's hard. I gotta proper concentrate. It's bullshit. Makes me feel like I'm reading like a child again. Then he sent out the dove from him to see if the waters had subsided from the face of the ground. And it's fucking, it annoys me, and then I fucking speed up because I'm annoyed. My brain's shit. Do you know what, John? That's a great idea. Do you know what, everyone? Let's just skip to the end. The end. It's done. Right. So, well, he said, but the dove found no place to set its foot, and it returned to him. It returned to him to the ark. For the waters were still on the face of the whole earth, even though he was there on the mountains where it wasn't. He put his hand out. He put out his hand and took it and brought it into the ark with him. He waited another 7 days. I was trying to abridge it though. That's stupid. It took another 7 days, and again he sent out the dove from the ark. The dove came back to him in the evening, and there in its beak was a freshly plucked olive leaf. So no one knew the waters had subsided. And he waited out another day, and he sent out the dove, and it did not return to him any more. So I thought he sent out a raven as well, because the dove and the raven are part of Atrahasis. Atrahasis is the Numa Ailish. Yeah. I thought he sent out a raven. Huh. Or is it in different versions? Huh. So not. Sorry. Just what passage? What? 8-7. I completely skipped it because I'm stupid. See, that's what I mean. My brain just skips sentences because it wants to carry on. So it sends out the raven first. At the end of the 40 days, not the 150, not the 10 months or the 7 months. At the end of the 40 days, Noah opened the window of the ark that he had made and sent out a raven. It went forth to and fro until the waters had dried from the earth, and then he sent out the dove. Right. I skipped that, or don't remember reading it. Wow. But the point is, my overall point is this comes from the Enuma Elish, because Atrahasis does this as well, very specifically and in the same order. The idea that they haven't tried to take this myth for their own is silly. And if people try and make you feel all abashed by saying, "Oh, it's not plagiarism," you go, "Yeah, it's not plagiarism," but it also is the same story. And if you're going to say it isn't, then you just haven't actually read the Enuma Elish. That's what it is. I read read it. Quote the Enuma Elish at them. It's so much fun because they go, "What?" Because they don't know what to do. Because they don't expect you to have read any of this stuff. Like they expect you to have just listened to people like me and go, "Well." I mean, even that stupid Braxton Hunter video where it's like, "Oh, do you actually read Christian scholar books, or do you listen to people on YouTube?" You know what I mean? Ugh. So Noah went out with his sons and his wife. Oh yeah, and then in the second month of the 27th day of the month, the earth was dry. I'm pretty sure those numbers don't add up. I can't remember. And it's far too late in the stream for me to give a shit. But I'm pretty sure they don't add up. If they do, well, then I'm wrong. Yeah. Yeah, I was. I feel weird sometimes because I've been an atheist for fucking 20 years now. And then I see all these people on YouTube that are old. I've been an atheist for 5 years, and it's like, damn, man, it almost makes me feel like a hipster. I was like a atheist before it was cool, bro. I'll let you know. I shouldn't think like that. I try not to think like that, and I scold myself when I do. But still, it's those evil human thoughts, make you think bad things about others. You got to go, no, that's a bad human, and you smack it metaphorically on the head, like if it's yourself. You know what I mean? I am all for the punching Nazi. Punching Nazis is cool. Nazis should be afraid to be Nazis. Do you know what? Yeah. It's all full of snobbery, and it's bad. And I tell myself off. But you gotta be able to admit when you have the bad thoughts. You know what I mean? Because nobody's perfect. Yeah, I do a little bit. But I was I would have been like that, man. I totally would have been like that. My mum, I'm calling her my mother. The woman that I came out of, Amber, fuck her, she's a cunt. When she moved over here and left me with my dad, I stopped seeing the crazy Christian lady in the woods. because my dad was like a Methodist and not like a weird fundamentalist Christian. So he's like, you're not seeing that crazy lady in the woods. And he had that's I'll approach that in a minute. He had a bunch of like, you know, George Carlin tapes, like Eddie Murphy tapes and stuff. I hadn't really, it's like I got into Cosby a little bit, you know, stand up because I was like a kid. I think when I started listening to Carlin, I was 10. You know what I mean? 96 was the year. Yeah, it was no, it was the year. Yeah, it was definitely 96 because it was the year. Back in Town came out. I started listening to Carlin. And I think if I hadn't listened to Carlin, maybe I wouldn't be a crazy fundamentalist Christian, but I think I would definitely still be a Christian if I hadn't listened to Carlin at a young age. Hot take: if there was Christians, there would be no fascism. I mean, I don't know. I think there totally would be. Christians don't hold the reins of any like just because most fascist nations are Christian and it was made by Christians. Fascism is kind of too new, I think, to be able to say that with certainty. Like, yeah, but I think the way capitalism works and the way totalitarianism works, like, just makes people, because people themselves kind of want to hate stuff. We're kind of primed to. Like, this idea that we're all really nice inside is just the worst. And I like people, it's an idea that perpetrates a lot of people, and it does my fucking head in. They're just bad apples spoiling the bunch. It's like, no, people are fucked because we're feral animals that can speak and wear a hat, and we're pretending that we're not feral. That's all it is. And like, we forget that, like, people go, oh, you know, like Jim Carrey, when he has one stand-up show that you can watch, and it's like a bunch of impressions and him doing like body comedy and stuff, but it's good, you know, if you like Jim Carrey. Yeah, but racism was there before it. And like, they'd find a different fairy tale. People want to believe in stuff, and I think it's because they can't control things. I think the inability to control nature itself is why humanity needs, like, it wants itself to become down that road itself. You know what I mean? I don't think. It's like we've had a nice couple hundred years of trying to, you know, bit by bit, trying to piece people together properly. I don't think that was ever going to last very long. We were always going to be in the extreme minority because, like, people want to hate stuff. They just do. They want to blame other things for their own insecurities, for their own failures, for the failures of the place they live. Like this insane pride that people have to have about where they're from. And I don't just mean like America way. I mean like, oh, I'm from Minnesota. I'm from Bangor, Maine. Bangor, Maine's the best place on earth. And it's like, no, it's the only place you've lived. Like, people are very territorial. People don't count that as being like all this tribalism. I'm a Red Sox fan. I need to hate the Yankees, and I like Liverpool. I need to hate Manchester. You know, I do, like, everything people do. I said that very badly. Everything that humanity does is to put people into boxes to try and like deal with them in some way. You know what I mean? But the problem is people like once somebody's in that box to go, well, here's all the things that every other person that is vaguely like you's done. And it's a natural instinct to do that. And people deny that we are animals. And I mean, like, more than just this. Deny that we're this sort of thing. We're above it all. This thing, all right then. Jesus is a cunt. I wouldn't say Jesus is a cunt. Yahweh's a cunt. I'll definitely say Yahweh's a cunt. Jesus, I don't know. I'd say Jesus is a bastard. Because Jesus at least tries a few times to say, hey, if we're just taking him at his word, right? Jesus at least a few times tries to say, actually, you should be better than the law because the law isn't good enough. So, you know, that's a bit better. we could get into how Rome made Christians as imperialist as they are. Yeah, they totally did. Oh yeah. But then in itself, that still isn't Christian, though, is it? Since the fact that Sol Invictus and like fucking what's his face, Constantine, basically fucking changed Christianity from being like these very peace loving people, because early Christianity is very different, where it's actually no, don't do anything. It's all we're all gonna be good, and we gotta really treat people nicely, like, and stuff like that. And they had like this real sense of community and all this different shit until until the Romans went, you know what? No, we can use this guy on the cross to empower people to go murder people. And that took Rome, not Christianity. I think if Rome hadn't been around, Christianity probably wouldn't have been a thing. Still, I think it would have died out. But I do think that I did want to see. That was the problem. I didn't want to read about Jesus. I do want to read about Jesus. I have so many things to say about the Jesus, but Jesus is very far away, and I couldn't decide whether to start with the New Testament or the Old Testament. And since a lot of the Old Testament is trying to reference the New Testament is trying to reference the Old Testament, fuck it. And like I'm gonna, the more I get into reading the Bible, the quicker I want to do it. I don't want to necessarily do it once a month. I'd ideally like to do it every week and maybe make that a thing instead of like making videos. But I've got to get into the groove of things. I've had a few troubles at home. Not with the missus, just fucking life and fucking immigration and shit like that. And so I've been fucking a bit scatty, not to mention my back. So fucking listen, you condescending cunt. You can't pray for us. Shut up. Like the idea that you, the $2 prayer book, are going to change God's mind if God is real and has a plan, that you praying for us is going to change anything, is like above condescension. Like you ain't that special to change God's mind. Only the devil can do that, right? What was I saying? So like, I've been a bit scatty and fucking, I've been finding it hard to find motivation to do stuff. But I like reading the Bible. I'm enjoying it, and I am not done. I've been trying to smoke a bong, but I fixed my computer. But I've been having a little rant because why not? Oh, totally. Well, that's the point, though, isn't it? That it's not about affecting change in us. It's about making them feel better. Because they don't give a shit if we get saved. They just want to come on and say their bit so they can feel special because they did God's work, and since they did God's work, they're special good boys and girls and in-betweens, right? And because that's the case, well, then they get to go to heaven, and they don't really give a shit what we think. That's why it's nothing but condescension, and like you can just whatever. I mean, if you want to come on and like actually talk about the flood, then there's a link there. You should do that. I'll talk about the flood all day. Convince me of the flood, because if the flood isn't real, well, then what's the point of it being there? And if you're going to say the book is divinely inspired, well, then why is it there? And if it's not real and it's there, then which other bits do we get to decide? Which bits are real and aren't real? But I thought God said that you should trust in His understanding and not yours. And if it's divinely inspired, it's His understanding. So it's either real or it isn't. Yeah. It's a little bit more than that. It's actually trying to get dopamine, serotonin, whatever, to run through your brain by talking to yourself. You make yourself feel better through priming and stuff so it's actually trying to literally change their brain chemistry by being condescending. That's literally what that is. Prayer, whilst we're talking about the Bible, is actually like the idea, Adonai, if you're still there, the idea that you would pray for me is against Jesus, my friend. It just is, right? So in the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus says that you should only do one prayer and one prayer only, and you should do that behind closed doors. And if you do that one prayer behind closed doors, then that is all you need to do, right? Because any other prayer is like shouting in the synagogues like the heathens. I'll just pull, we're doing a Bible study. I'll just pull up the verse. It's what Jesus says. And people don't like what Jesus says. Jesus says a lot of anti-Christian idea things, and they don't like it. No, all prayers. When and whenever you pray. Whenever. So whenever you pray, can you see it on the screen there? No, you can't. It's not praying to the Father. That's not what it says. So, Matthew 6:5. Whenever you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and at the street corners, so they may be seen like others, like you, justified by Adonai. Truly I tell you that they have received their reward. But whenever you pray, whenever, not just to the Lord, because all fucking prayers are to the Lord, right? Truly I tell you. So whenever you pray, go into your room and shut the door and pray to your Father who is in secret, and your Father who is in secret will reward you. When you are praying, do not heap empty phrases as the Gentiles do, for they think that they will be heard because of their many words. Do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask. Before you ask him, pray then in this way: Our Father in heaven, may your name be as revered as holy. May your kingdom come. May your will be done as it is on earth. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we have also forgiven our debtors. And do not bring us to the time of trial, but rescue us from the evil one. For if you forget others and their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive others, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. The whole point of Matthew 6 is saying, stop being like such a fucking cunt with your Christianity. It's literally saying, yeah, he's saying anytime you pray, that's the only prayer you need to do, because you don't need to pray for anything else, because the Lord knows what you want. So if you pray in public for other people and you pray to aggrandize yourself or anything like that, that is not alone, then the only reward you get is on earth. Because do not heap treasures from the, what does it say? It's fasting. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moths and rust consume, and where the thieves break and steal. But store for yourselves treasure in heaven. Neither moth nor rust consumes it, where thieves do not break it and steal. For where your treasure is, your heart will be also. The point is, you're not supposed to be all fucking everywhere about it, right? You can proselytize, and proselytizing is not the same as praying, my friend. So fuck off. Don't tell me you're going to pray for me. Jesus says, go fuck yourself. And if you don't like it, I don't give a flying fuck. No, we're in. What are we looking at here? Well, we've got 5:44, 45. Right, where are we? You've heard it said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. You know. But hey, Christians persecute everyone, so we're supposed to pray for you. I don't really feel like praying for you. And the thing is you don't need to pray. It's literally part of the same thing. This is all the Sermon on the Mount. Like, oh my God. Just because you ignore the context of what's being said and what it actually means, doesn't mean jack shit. He's not actually saying that you should pray for them. God already knows what you want. All you have to do is think about it. Do the prayer. You know what you want. God will do it because you have not asked. God specifically said, Jesus says specifically not to ask because you will not receive. Because, like, you're going to tell me saying you're praying for me is not like you're saying you're praying in the street corners so you can be seen by others. Yeah? Not the same? Not the same at all, is it, right? Yeah, because you're not on a street corner. It's on the internet. It's totally different, right? Totally different. I'm not trying to offend you. I don't really, like, I'm just saying what I think. You know what I mean? You don't love me. You don't know me. It's not love. It's condescension. Condescension ain't love. Yeah, but he can be seen here better, right? So, I was talking about Noah. Jesse. Where are we? So, if you want to try and prove Noah, I'll debate all you want. So, prove me Noah. Prove me the flood. And I'll talk to you again. That's what I give a shit about. Oh, that's not what I meant to click. Right. I'll start at 8:13. I can't remember exactly what it was on, but I'll start there. In the 600th year, the 601st year, in the first month, on the first day of the month, the waters were dried up from the earth, and Noah removed the covering from the ark, and looked and saw that the face of the ground was drying. In the second month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth was dry. Do you ever notice that this is like the only part of the Bible that like tries to actually like date it just constantly? Tries to tell you very like more specific than literally anything else. And Noah removed the covering from the ark and saw that the face of the ground was drying. In the second month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth was dry, and then God said to Noah, "Go out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons' wives with you. Bring out with you every living thing that is with you, with you of all flesh, birds and animals, and every creeping thing that creeps. Creeping thing that creeps. It's a creepatom, creepatom." On the earth, so they may abound on the earth and be fruitful and multiply. Be fruitful and multiply, people, but don't like the sex. The sex is bad. Someone say ape. Hello, sir, madam, in between. I don't know. I'm a guy. I default to saying guy things. That's why I try and say dude all the time. I need to go back to just saying dude all the time. Dude fits everything. But yeah. And where is it? And of course, we do the glorious wonders that are abound by our Lord and Saviour Sir David Attenborough, showing the delights and creations of his father's planets, from orangutans to limprey eels, from the slight grass seeds to the motes of mushrooms that spawn throughout the earth. He shows us all. He shows them to us all, so we may love them as he does. We shall all celebrate our Lord and Saviour, Sir David Attenborough. He is the light. He is the person that shines the light in all the corners of nature to make us love and commune with the planet as his Father intended. He who is above even Attenborough. And as Attenborough approaches his 100th year on this planet, in his form, we must appreciate all the things he's done. I should really make myself bigger. Should really appreciate all the things he's done. For on his 100th birthday, we shall all that believe shall be ascended to heaven as long as he dies on his birthday. or whenever he dies. We shall all ascend together to heaven with him. Those that do believe, truly and thusly, we shall all rise with our Lord and Savior. Attenborough! Yeah. They don't like it when you confront them on their prayer. Why are you saying it's bad that I'm praying for you? Oh, no, whatever. No lady to bow. No, I bow to my Braxton many times, often, and well, he really does. Attenborough, anybody who has like Attenborough has a secret set of documentaries, right? And if you love Attenborough, you should watch it. And I'm not joking. They're not like secret, like, oh, hush, hush. Like, just they were like little one-off specials, and there's a whole series of them, and it follows different animals. And like the best one is the 3-part tiger special, where it follows one female tiger who has 4 cubs for like their entire like the first 4 or 5 years of their adolescence or something. It's so good, and like they get all these like secret cameras and like things like trees and cameras and elephants to carry cameras around so they don't get fucking thingy. And it's so good. They do it with birds. They do it with all sorts of animals. It's really, really good, and nobody knows about them. And the like little side documentaries. They're the best shit. Attenborough could possibly be like, I don't know, the nicest person on the planet. He really could. His voice is amazing. We can certainly agree on that. My favorite one is at the end of, I think it's the first Trials of Life in like the end of 79, 81, something like that. And at the end of the last episode, I can't remember if it's the first episode or the last episode, it does a bit of a guy doing Attenborough to Attenborough. And it's so good. It's so good. And here we see, Lord, he's not Sir Attenborough at the time, and here we see one David Attenborough in his natural habitat, and it's just David Attenborough writing on a desk, just writing a letter or some shit, tittering away as this guy's head. It's so good. Oh man, I love Attenborough. You should. They're so good. Attenborough's the best. There's only one person that could possibly surpass David Attenborough, and that's Norman Borlaug. And he is not. He is above. That's a different person. Do you mean Blue Planet, or is there like actually one called Ocean? If there's one called Ocean, I don't think I've heard of that one. The only one I don't like is his dinosaur ones because they're all made up. Because like fucking like the dinosaurs hunted this way, and it's like, did they? You have no idea of this. It's just made up. You just made up this idea because the bone structure looks like this. I mean, sometimes it's obvious. It's like when they went, oh, do you know what? Actually, the Brachiosaurus isn't real. Shit. It's 2 different dinosaurs put together. That's why we've never found a full one. Shame. I like the Brachiosaur. And it wasn't real. Oh well. Let's get back to Noah's flood. Flood. Take out everything. Blah blah blah. Flush the birds. Well, I mean, they're just 4-legged creatures. That's the thing. They fucking diversity of actual bone structure isn't that dissimilar across most species. That's the thing about evolution, man. A lot of people go, "Oh, you have to evolve every animal has to evolve the fingers, the toes, and it's like, no, they don't. They only have to evolve once. They only have to evolve once, and then everything else after that has them. Because look, that one thing has eyes, wins out over everything, and then it spreads out and takes over everywhere because it's got eyes. And then when they separate, they start becoming different things, and then everything with eyes kills everything that doesn't have eyes. It's like it only has to evolve once, and people forget that fact. Things can like evolve together in different places, and that's called convergent evolution. Andrew's calling bunk. What's a hippo bone then? Are you saying the hippo bone's a bunk, or you're saying I'm bunk? Let's have a hippo bone. Nah. I don't see the dinosaurness, to be honest. Maybe I'm just too inclined to see hippo. But like, no, that definitely looks like a mammal skeleton to me. Maybe it's just me. Andrew seems to agree. Yeah, no. I'm looking at the. I'll just show this tab instead. Fuck it, I can do that. I'm just looking at the hippo bones now. You know what I mean? Oh, you can't see. What? Because the skull gets you what? Because the teeth at the front. The problem is, right? They have their eyes on the side. Not a lot of dinosaurs like had that, and if they did, it was like I think the closest dinosaur structure I can think to of this would maybe be like I can't. They had like fins going up the back, and like they weren't necessarily four-legged. They had big arms that came down, and they could walk on both 2 and 4. But like I said, I might be too accustomed just to knowing it's a hippo. Because to me, I don't know. It doesn't like the. It's also the way there's the other thing you can tell is hip placement and stuff like that. Because like the hip placement, because they were like lizards and birds, shit like that. The hip placement's different. They come out and down instead of just like it. I can't think of the word specifically, but mammals have different hips and leg joints and stuff. But yeah, let's get back to Noah. Hey, need an ark? I know a guy. God's promise to Noah. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord and took of every clean animal and every clean bird and the burnt and offered burnt offerings to the altar. So did it like is this saying that Noah just took like some of like the best ones of all the clean animals and just sacrificed all of them, effectively killing what, like a fifth of the population? Maybe no, like an eighth of the population, because like there's the unclean animals as well. Like what? 3 blind mice. Basically, I say basically, I have no idea what you're on about. It's the fun of YouTube. You got to people say things and you go, I have no idea, and you got to agree. But I'm sick of that. I don't know what you mean. I'm confused. And the Lord smells the pleasing odor, and the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground because of humans, for the inclination of the human heart is evil from youth, nor will I ever again destroy every living creature as I have done. What? As long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night, shall not cease. What? What is it? What does that say again? That God made evil and put it into the world, right? And not only does it say that, it says that he will never, ever again destroy every living creature. Like, I know people are going to try and say, well, as I have done means by the flood. And it's like, that's not what it means, right there. He's saying he's not going to kill everything again. It's the same promise made by Enlil, and it's made by Enki, and like, Ea and all that shit and all the different Mesopotamian myths, right? God is saying, as long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease. So, like, as long as the earth endures, he like what, and he says that he's not going to do it. So what? So he just goes, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to blow up the earth with fire. That's different, right? I know I said I'm never going to destroy every living creature again, as I've done, but I'm definitely going to do it again. And in fact, I'm going to do it more because there's more people and there's like more things. Cool. And like, God never breaks his promises, right? I'm not even going to look the verse up. If Jonah 3 says that God repented and changed his mind, then God does not have any objectiveness in the world. His whim is then subjective, so nothing is objective in the Christian view. It can't be. If God can change his mind, then the basis for objective morality and all that shit goes right out the window, doesn't it? Because then it's on the whim of God, so it's not objective. Is it? I mean, there's a lot. And by the way, hello, Ember. How you doing? Yes, there is actually a lot in this that says that it isn't an all-powerful God. But hey, nobody cares about Genesis, right? Because unless you're a fundamentalist, Genesis only exists to impress children now. And we only continue to teach it to children because Genesis has all the fairy tales, right? And unless you're a fundamentalist, Genesis doesn't matter, so you can ignore it because it's the Old Testament. You just tell it to your kids because it's better than saying, you see that guy? We whipped him and fucking stabbed him to death on a fucking cross, right? It's better than saying that. They go, would you see there was a boat and you put the little child in the tub and you get your little boat and you get your little plastic animals. You got there was a flood and the animals were on it and they were all saved because God was nice. And you ignore all the other things. And then like you get bullshit things like what? Let me get it. It's only on the other side of the room and it's Britain. It's all small and I am fucking massive. Massive blood. Yeah? Wicked. Blah, blah, and all that bullshit. Right, my lights are in the way. No. Having a fucking poo. Right, there we go. And then, like, you get shit like this. This one isn't particularly bad. The one I had was worse. I wish I could find it. But I can't. Because I can't even remember what it looked like. But then you get stupid shit like this. The kids' Bible, where, they fluff all the language and try and over-explain it. Really, I should be going through this as well. It's literally what I bought it for. And just because I was talking about it before, it's the Book of Enoch that I'm going to be going through. I might get a better one. We'll see. I don't know. Do you know? Let's read what it says about the flood in here. Ugh, need to move my screen. My fat ass moved the screen when I went over there. Because I forgot. This is literally what I bought this kids' Bibles for, right? So let's Genesis 1. All right, chapter and verse. Well, this one says flood instead of like this. Interesting how different versions say different things because people want it to mean different things, right? Weird how that works. I wish I was like had some money and then I could learn like biblical Hebrew. I really, really desperately want to learn biblical Hebrew. I've even considered starting with Akkadian because I heard Megan. She's on what's her face? Thingy's podcast. I can't remember her name, but it's doing my fucking head in. I can picture her. I can do all the things. But Megan on Bart Ehrman's podcast is like, oh well, kind of biblical Hebrew is basically a form of Akkadian, and if you know Akkadian, biblical Hebrew is easier to learn. I'm like, all right, then I'll learn Akkadian. But that's hard as well. I need someone to teach me. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I'm too anxious to learn a language on my own. I have a looking and go, I don't know. Is that wrong? Is that right? I don't know. I have no one to talk to about it. But if I need some money, and then I'll learn biblical Hebrew, and I'll know exactly why this is weird. Next, where are we? Yes. I was trying to not say that. Yes, I was trying not to relate it to Josh, because she's like a, steam thing in her own right. Isn't that what you do when you're trying to be inclusive and nice? That's the thing, right? Yeah. Digital hammer on me. That's the one. I've been doing this for 2.5 hours, and I'm being a bit slow, but I don't care. I'm having fun. Yeah, she said on Batman's podcast is like it's easier to learn Akkadian first. Well, it's not that it's easier. It's just that it is easier, but the whole process is harder. I don't know. I can do neither because I'm dumb. God's covenant with Noah. I love how God just makes all these covenants with people and then breaks them and then makes new covenants. And like it's just covenant here, covenant that, and then God breaks through, makes a new covenant with a new person. Oh, that's already full. And like, I just wonder how many of these stories of Genesis actually are like their own stories in their own. Like I know, like I said before, I believe it's a bit of an omnibus, and I don't know if that's just a British word because I never heard it in Maine when I was a kid, where it's like you put all like the things together from one thing, like so over here they have like your soaps on all week, and then you watch the omnibus on Sunday, which is all of them put together into like one chunk. So if you made an amalgamation of like all these different stories, because so many of them, like the Adam and Eve story is obviously a creation story. I also think the covenant with Noah and starting again is a different creation myth. I kind of like, I don't have a lot of proof for my thoughts. This is conspiracy theory time. I wish I knew. That's what I need. I need a little. I need like a little thing to go in my background. I need like an Illuminati thing in my background. I'll do it next one. Anytime I'm going to do it, like I'm going to start, because like I have my conspiracies. I have my own thoughts with not very much proof. But I wouldn't be surprised. It like so much of this, it's like, oh, God made a covenant with these people, so you start again, and these are God's people. Moses is God's people, and then like, well, no, if we string them all together like they're family, right? Then do you get what I mean? This because so much of Genesis is like these are the first people. Jacob became Israel. You know what I mean? Like fucking Abraham had the big covenant. Noah had a covenant, started again. Adam started everything. It's just like start again, start again, start again. And so much of fucking so much of fucking Genesis is like, a thought went from my head. It's great. No. Genesis 1 is, well, parts of Genesis 2. But the second creation myth is the old one. The second creation myth comes from around the time of King Josiah, as far as from my understanding. And that's why they're so different, because the two, because like one's being more Syrian and one's being more Babylonian. That's from my understanding. Like and it's also the fact, like, because like with there's the documentary hypothesis where like a lot of the Pentateuch, there's the priestly source, there's the fucking the Deuteronomistic source. Oh, my head. Priestly source, the Yahwist source, because it says Yahweh as the name, and the fucking what's the other one I've remembered? I'm so dumb right now. I feel so dumb. Help me feel not dumb. Priestly source, Deuteronomistic source. There's another one. Fuck. But like, part of it is that they say God's name different, right? And they did like they do. There's two very different arc stories if you put them across like that. So I am going to go through them in a minute. But like, yeah, it's fucking. I'm pretty certain that the actual creation of the Israelites is so fucking scattered that it actually necessarily has to be this way for it to make sense. And not even to make sense for everybody to have their own thing. Because we've got to remember that you're not supposed to read the Bible, right? You're not supposed to read it from like Genesis to fucking Revelation. You're not even supposed to read all of Genesis. You're not supposed to read all of Ruth. You're not supposed to read all of Exodus. You're not supposed to read all of anything. And I don't mean I'm just picking and choosing. I mean, right? You're actually supposed to sing it because it's a song, and not just that, like, people didn't know how to read, so it was being read to them. The person would pick and choose. You didn't go along with them and go, I understand, right? You were given the understanding through the recitation of song, through the sacrifices and different shit like that, the feelings that were created from it. It's like, so like when we look at like the different ways that all of Genesis came together, that points to this fractured beginning. But even the fact that they can't get the 12 tribes of Israel right between like the Pentateuch and Joshua, is it Joshua and Judges? Like Joshua goes, here's these 12 tribes that have become Israel, and then like Judges goes, yeah, but actually there are another 12, right? Because so much of it is just like, well, no, it was my tribe, but actually it was a bunch of tribes, and like so many people that aren't like atheists that study this shit, or even Christians that study shit, because most Christians don't give a shit about any of this, or like the fact that none of these books were written at the same time, and they were written by many different people over a span of a lot of years for very different reasons, saying very different things. And these people are like, nah, but if I just take a line, it's fine. And you're supposed to be like, that's not how any holy book is ever supposed to be. Like what? Like, except what? Maybe the Gospel of Thomas, because it's literally some parables. Like, come on. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, it wasn't even just you weren't supposed to. You weren't able to. People couldn't read. So, like, whatever. That's one of those things that they don't tell you about Hammurabi, like, look, the law codes of Hammurabi, and it's like, yeah, part of the point of it was so they could go, well, the laws are there, and you go, well, I can't read, and they go, tough, the laws are still there. And then even when peasants could start to read, like, it depended what language you were reading it in. It's the devil's language. English is so evil, evil. And like fucking, yeah. Such a lovely religion. So, yeah, God kills you. So, why does God, like, I really need to know why God likes smelling dead flesh so much. What is it with God and the smelling of dead meats? So, he's killed everything, right? He's killed everything that existed. And then he lets him out, and then he goes, yeah, but can you kill another 10th of them? Just take a whole 7th of the 7th pairs and just sacrifice those clean animals for me, please. I know I said before that it was 2 and 2, 2 and 2. Now it's 7 again. So you need to sacrifice all those because, there can only be 6 pairs of clean animals that populate the earth, not 7. Because he really needs to smell the meats. Barbecue. Like, come on. Why the fuck does God like the smelling of dead flesh? What is it about it? Why is it that the Almighty can't just fucking, like, because he knows everything, right? God knows everything. So he knows that eventually he's like, you know what, just stop with the dead flesh. I don't need it anymore. Does he get bored of it? It's been a couple hundred years. Just stop. Like, what? If he likes the smell of burning flesh, why can't he just create an ever bit of burning flesh? Why do we have to kill the animals to build the flesh? It makes no sense. Except for the priest eating it. But hey, who cares about stuff like that, right? Like, come on. God blessed Noah and his son, and he said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. The fear of and dread of you all The fear and dread of you shall rest on every animal of the earth and of every bird of the air, on everything that creeps on the ground, and of all the fish in the sea. Into your hand they are delivered. Wait. Is this trying to say... So, before the... I didn't have this up, so I'm so sorry. I meant to click that again. So, before the flood... Is he trying to say... Because before the flood, everything was... sorry, what was I saying? So, was he saying before... Because, like, before the flood, animals and stuff were perfect and everything at plants, right? Because plants aren't alive. You couldn't kill alive things, right? So you could eat plants because they weren't alive. They're like rocks or whatever. So, and we were evil. And we like seeped our evil into the land like we were like a poison area damage in a game, right? And we poisoned the land literally. So he had to kill us all. So does that mean, actually, that after the flood, God's cure to us ruining the earth was he turned us on the animals instead of the earth? Because, like, after the flood, he says it to you. The fear and dread of you shall now rest on every animal of the earth and of every bird of the air, and everything that creeps on the ground, and every the fish in the sea. Into your hand they're delivered. Because before that, we were friends with all the animals, right? And then he's like, but we have evil in our hearts. So he's saying, actually, go fucking kill the animals. It's basically... So is this basically like that South Park episode where they get the Japanese to instead of killing whales and dolphins because they got convinced that fucking Pearl Harbor was done by it, they convinced it was cow and chicken? Is that what's going on here? That God's saying we have to kill animals so we don't pollute the earth? Every moving thing that lives shall be food for you, and just as I gave you the green plants, I give you everything. Why would he go, hey, you're all shit and evil at heart, right? And you're going to be evil from when you're young, and I'm going to stop being angry about you being evil. I'm now going to give you everything? Only you shall not eat flesh with its life, that is, its blood. For your own lifeblood, no black puddings, no white puddings. It's right out. Your own lifeblood For your own lifeblood I shall surely require a reckoning. From every animal I will require it, and from humans, each one the blood of another, I will require a reckoning for human life. Whoever sheds the blood of a human by human, shall that person's blood be shed. For in his image God made humans. So, God is saying, when you die, God's going to judge you for your blood. What? He's going to ask you for an amount of blood. And if you spilt blood, well, then you're fucked. Because you've destroyed God, because I've made you as me. But, so, like, I was going to talk about this more, like, you know, like Exodus, getting into Joshua, like, out of the, from Numbers into Joshua. But I can talk about it a bit here and then talk about it again later, I suppose. Religious people fucking copy themselves enough, so I'm going to do it. So if God's here being very, very specific and saying, I'm giving you fucking everything, okay? Everything is yours. Kill and eat all the shit, okay? Just don't fucking kill each other. Is that okay? It's literally what he's saying. He's saying to Noah, right? Don't fucking kill each other. Kill everything else. It's fine. So when then God comes back later and says, kill the Amalekites and kill fucking, the Moabites or the Canaanites or whoever, right? Isn't it just a test then? Anytime somebody says, God says you should kill people, well, Genesis says, fuck you. very specifically. Like, why does killing people stop when, well, it serves my political purpose? Weird that, isn't it? It's weird that. It's weird how we shouldn't kill them, but they have the right to say who should kill who should be killed. Interesting, isn't it? It's interesting how, everyone should be protected until, well, they decide not to. I need to put the thing on the screen. Sorry, I'm being very bad right now. It's just fucking. It annoys me. It annoys me greatly. Like, why is it that people can see stuff like that and then use it to go, hey, did you know Christianity is a really peaceful religion? And you go, yeah, but what about all the times they kill people? They go, but that's different. Like, yeah, but the Welsh needed their own alphabet because they wanted to piss off the English. Sorry, I've just seen a part of that. So God's saying kill everything else, not people. And then the people, let's say, do you know, maybe we shouldn't kill those people, and the people that are bombing people should maybe stop, and like maybe we should force them if they don't, because like that's wrong. Like, we're the bad ones. Weird that, isn't it? And the ones that go, do you know what, we should invade this country for oil, and we should invade this country because I want money, and that country because they pissed me off. Those are the good, strong people, right? Because they say the good, strong Christian men. You know what I mean? Like, come on. God tells you repeatedly not to kill things. People don't give a shit. Why the fuck? Why? I don't get it. Why the fuck? Why are we supposed to ever respect these people? I don't get it. The oil ain't gonna liberate itself. Yeah, it was. It was just sat there happily for millions of years, just just existing. Eventually it would blow up. That's an interesting thing. I thought about on a few occasions, right? What if people didn't come around? What if there was no people, right? And it would just the earth continued the way it was with animals and trees and plants and fish, and it just went on, and no intelligent species cropped up. What would happen when these vast fucking oil and gas fields that have been put down by like rainforests and bogs and all this shit? What happens when they reach the mantle? Because that's going to be a big fucking explosion, right? That's a lot of internal pressure created instantly. Or does it not set on fire because of the pressure? I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe there is an answer and I've never looked. Because I've never looked. But it is a thing that I think about occasionally. It's like, what happened? Like, what would it start a chain reaction if it's big enough? Do you know what I mean? Imagine if there's like a giant oil field somewhere near like the fucking Cascadia, or like in fucking Northwest America, or like anywhere in the Ring of Fire. Would it set off a chain reaction? I don't know. That's my other random thoughts for the day. Geology's fun. Geologists do it in the dirt. Yeah, I'll let myself out. Anyway. And then God said to Noah and his sons with him, as for me, I am establishing my covenant with you and your descendants after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds and the domestic animals, and every animal of the earth that is with you, as many as came out of the ark, I establish my covenant with you, that never again shall all the flesh be cut off by the waters of a flood. Hello.
Hello.
Would you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Wesley Lawrence Curry II. Jesus has shown every one of your audience visions and dreams, and I am in some of those visions and dreams. Above my head is the dove that was on Noah's Ark. That dove is the Star of Bethlehem, the light that shone the way to the shepherds and the wise men to the birthplace of Jesus. That same dove is the dove that was upon Jesus when he was baptized by John, and it descended from heaven and was on his head all of his days. That dove, the dove in the days of Noah, is the Star of Bethlehem. The dove that was on Jesus' head is written in Scripture also as the key to the house of David, and also is the throne of God. So you can unequivocally say, I am a stick of gum stuck under the throne of God.
Do you need medication?
I'll hear your question and I'll answer that when we meet face to face.
Seems like none of that is even possibly true.
Well, I asked Jesus to give you real bread about 2 months and a week ago, and he did. Reality seems to not be your strong point.
So, because I got a loaf of bread from the store, Jesus gave me bread. Are you a troll?
No, I'm the speaker for Jesus Christ on earth.
Okay.
Jesus is God. There is no other God beside him.
Right.
Jesus appeared to you and told you to tell the vision. One night, Jesus quit holding you up. And when he quits holding you up,
We had a sexual embrace. It was a magical moment.
it was a moment you were paralyzed and could not move, and you felt a shock like an electric.
Oh no!
in your body.
That is just patently wrong. I
And a
writhed,
voice,
I moaned. We were intertwined. Our
yeah,
tongues and toes intermingled. It was beautiful. It was
and
a
a
beautiful
voice
night together.
loudly spoke in your head the words, "Don't tell the vision," and it was on March 31st in the year 2020. On October 10, 2005, Satan said the words, "I will turn and toss you violently like a ball," in your mind. So it's actually you who are the schizophrenic that hears those voices and you believe it's God. You're
That's
the
a lot
one
of projection
that's
you
the
got there.
schizophrenic.
You need Thorazine. Is Thorazine the right drug? That's a lot of projection you're doing though.
So when the real bread of Jesus is presented to you, that voice of Satan in your head tells you don't tell about it. It gives you words like, "Are you on your meds?" You're sort of a slave to that thing right now, and you just don't even know it. You're that deaf and blind.
Right.
But I just told you the thoughts that were in the privacy of your mind.
No,
Something
you
that
didn't.
you're not quite able to.
I love this stuff. You can pretend like this all you want. It's fun. Go on. What other thoughts have I have? I want to know. I want
I'm
to know
telling
all the
you,
thoughts I've had. I want to know all of them. I want to know the dates. I want to know the times. I want to know who I was sat with, who I was talking to. I want to know all the. Oh, go on. If you know exactly all the things, go on. Tell me in great detail and not in vague generalities. Go on.
October 10 in 2005, as you lay in your bed, for a few moments,
Oh,
you were paralyzed and you could not move
uh,
because Jesus
I
quit
so I had a
holding
bed in
you
2005. Did I? I had a bed in 2005. Did I?
in the
No,
moments
no, no, no,
that
no. Answer the fucking question. I had a bed in 2005, did I?
in the moments that
No,
Jesus
answer the
quit
fucking question.
holding
You're
you up.
predicting, you're telling me what I did. I know where I was in 2005. You
Satan
said I had a
spoke
bed. Answer the
in your
fucking question.
mind.
Did I have a bed in 2005?
Satan spoke in your mind in
Did,
that moment.
no, answer the fucking question, idiot. Did I have a bed in 2005? Yes
I
or no?
will turn and toss you violently like a ball. Were the
Yes
exact
or no? Did I
words
have a bed in
you thought
2005?
in
Yes or
your
no?
bed at the precise moment
I was
you had
homeless, you
those
stupid
thoughts.
old fuck. So, listen to this.
You're angry
2005, I was
because
homeless.
I
I
am
had no fucking bed.
exactly
So you can take
right.
your bullshit and shove it up your ass trying to say, oh, it happened a long time ago, so you can't possibly remember October 10th, 2005. Well, I can remember 2005 because I was homeless for 6 years. So I didn't have a bed. So go fuck yourself.
Ah, Nyan Nyan. Now you're going to play Nyan Nyan. Okay.
Whatever, yo. Well, that was an interesting sidebar. That guy totally seems like He really needs some psych help. He seems like an old lonely man sat in his underwear, shouting and ranting and raving at whoever will listen because he has no one else to speak to. What's going on? That shouldn't be there. So, you need help, sir. You should go find it. What was I doing? I was, in fact, talking about 1 Moses. Oh, look, I can have both of them together and bigger. Is this better? I should have it this way, shouldn't I? Ha ha ha. I'm a professional. And then God, I said, the Son, God said, "This is the sign of the covenant that I will make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for future generations. I have set my bow in the clouds, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth." So, of course, he is speaking about the rainbow. And according to one, I'll bring a name up because I'm really bad with. I feel horrible because I'm terrible with Greek names. I've practiced the last name, and I still can't say it. I can't say it without looking at it. It's really annoying. Francesca Stavrakopoulou. I think I've said that correctly. Hopefully. In her book, God and Anatomy, she says that there's actually a possibility that the rainbow is God's penis. Because, in fact, like it says, the rainbow is also seen as like a bow because of the shape. And the bow itself was actually shaped like an erect penis. So sometimes the war bow, as the rainbow is for God, because he uses it to kill Leviathan, I believe. That's what she says anyway. Something to that effect. You should read a book. It's fantastic. What was I saying? I got distracted by chat. Sorry. So because of that, apparently the rainbow might in fact be God's penis. Yeah. I know now exactly what he's done, so he won't be appearing on here again. Don't worry about it. That guy was insane. I'm still my adrenaline's still up a little bit. It was fun. It was like, oh God, what have I done? I want to hear all the things I've done. Yeah, he did. Yeah, because mental health doesn't matter. Mental health is fucked. I mean, like, you're not supposed to have good mental health because if you have good mental health, you're not anxious, and if you're not anxious, you're not easy to control. Because all you have to do is spread a little bit of fear, and the anxious person goes, "Oh, I don't want to know." If we approached it properly, we'd be able to deal with it, and it wouldn't be as bad, and the world would be a nicer, happier place. But we couldn't have that. That would be a good thing. Set my bow in the clouds. Whenever I bring clouds over the earth, and the bow is seen in the clouds, I will remember my covenant that is between me and you, and every living creature of the flesh, and the waters shall never again become a flood to destroy all flesh, just some flesh. You know, maybe a tidal wave here and there, you know what I mean? You know, maybe some flooding and a bad rainstorm in the valley. Yeah. Hey, I wanted people to come on and try and convince me of the ark, because I kind of want random Christians to come on and start like trying to have a go at me. It'd be fun. I'm kind of enjoying it, especially when they're crazy. I like the crazy ones, but I'm also trying to talk about the ark, and that was the point. If you're not going to talk about the ark, I don't give a shit. If you're going to just start saying a bunch of dates that I was fucking in places and doing stuff, and God came to me, and then I'm not saying the revelations I had, then whatever. But I want to talk about the ark. It's an episode based around the ark. So if you want to convince me that the ark is real, that I'll let most people on. I only denied one person today, and that's Brett Keane. And that's because it's Brett Keane. Yeah, I know. But like, I've got to try and drive engagement somehow. When the bow is in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh is on the earth. God said to Noah, "This is the sign of the covenant that I have established between me and all flesh on the earth." Just a little God penis in the clouds. Put a little God penis in the clouds, and God remembers that he's not going to, jizz over you so much that you die and drown. Oh, I love that. I love that the rainbow might be his penis. It's like how washing the feet might be like, blowjobs. So, we'll keep that in mind when we're reading. Because people go on about how wholesome the Bible is, and it says some raunchy shit. People forget about like stuff like that. And the sons of Noah who went out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Ham was the father of Canaan. And these three were the sons of Noah. And from these the whole earth was peopled. Noah, a man of the soil, was first to plant a vineyard. He drank some of the wine and became drunk, and he laid uncovered in his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brothers outside. Then Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it upon their shoulders, and walked backward, covered the nakedness of their fathers. Their naked faces were turned away, and they did not see their father's nakedness. When Noah woke from his wine and knew what his youngest son had done to him, he said, "Cursed be Canaan, lowest of slaves shall be to his brothers." Noah get raped by his son.
Sounds like it.
Like, he cursed.
Wine, became drunk,
Yeah.
covered in his tent.
What, like, so his only crime can't be just seeing him naked. Well, he got him drunk and then saw him naked. He has to have done something. Did you jack him off? Did he like fucking, you know what I mean? It's the fact that he wakes up and goes, "Oh, what you did," it makes me suspicious because it can't just be that he was drunk.
No.
Because like he got his brothers to cover him up.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand. Like I don't understand what I'm missing. It has to be something like that. He gave him a little blowjob. He gave him a little jack off. Him and his wife might have fucked on him and left all the fluids. I don't know. But it seems a little bit more that he got him drunk and then saw him naked and went, "Oh no, he's naked!
And
Brothers, help me!"
brothers, yeah.
Like, I don't know. It seems a bit weird. He also said, "Blessed by the Lord my God be Shem, and let Canaan be his slave. May God make space for Japheth, and let him live in the tents of Shem, and Canaan be his slave." After the flood, Noah lived 350 years, and all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. He died. So we're starting to see the bits where like fucking what's it called? Where the Hebrews at the time are trying to like say, no, all these other nations were created by us. And because they were created by us because of specific reasons. So these are the reasons we should hate them. So Canaan is first, and Canaan should be their slaves. So what it's saying is Canaan is the biggest enemy because like, after the sea peoples come in and you're trying to like take over the remnants of places, you need to take over the remnants of people that were there, like the Canaanites. and then when you do it, you can make it look like it was heroic, right? Because the winners write history. That's why archaeology is important. Because we start then digging through the sand and the dirt and the mud and the rock and the whatever, and we find these places where stuff happened, and we can find a greater and better picture of these things. And funnily enough, if we look through all the strata we've looked through, because geology, I don't know, it seems like it's looked through a lot of strata, like an obscene amount of strata. So we would have seen a place where like it's always salty everywhere. It has the same things. All the animals would be dead together, you see, because the animals would float at first. And then they would intermingle, right, and become bloated. And then eventually the skeletons would fall to the thing, you know, like a whale's. See, but the thing is the flesh wouldn't be eaten, they'd continue to rot and all this different shit. So, like, actually, we have evidence of stuff everywhere, but we have none. The closest we have is that there was some wadis that overflowed due to glacial melt after the last mini ice age that caused the Red Sea to swell. And we found evidence of settlements in that area under the Red Sea that is now the Red Sea. Or am I? No, I'm thinking of the Gulf of Arabia. I'm stupid. The Gulf of Arabia, not the Red Sea. And also, like the Black Sea burst at one point and flooded a bunch of a big area, and also the flooding of the Mediterranean. All these things could be remembered through oral tradition, and all it is a flood, man. It doesn't matter what the rest of it is; it's a flood. Like, I did mean to say this earlier on, but like, you know, when we look, there's no Egyptian flood myth. What's the Egyptian flood myth? Oh, some goddess was unhappy and tried to like pour wine into the Nile, and then they drank it, and then they celebrated every year. Okay, what you got? What's the Chinese flood myth? That the Yellow and the Yangtze River were uncontrollable, and that like one civil servant, a guy called Yu, traveled up and down the Yellow and Yangtze River. Multiple times, seeing his child that was being born by his wife, as the story goes. You know, at the time, and passing him 3 times, never seeing them, and he drew, like, because he blah 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 blah, because he said he was told by the government that wasn't official China at the time, you either do this, civil servant, or we kill you, because we're sick of the flooding, because the Yellow and the Yangtze River are untameable. So he walked up and down it, and he saw what he saw, and he ended up building canals and boring holes through mountains to like let the water go into other places and tame them somewhat. And like, we have found some of these holes. So it's actually not that much of a myth anymore. It might be at least somewhat true, because it's also the start. That story also leads to the start of Qin China, like the Qin Emperor China, first Emperor of China, like Taiwan China, not modern China. What's next? That's the descendants of Noah. That can be saved for next time, because I have a thing from an old inspiring philosophy video already prepared for that, and I don't have it prepared today. So that has been the story of Noah. I hope I didn't forget anything. Like the thing I was about to say, I wish we could figure out the Indus Valley language, because they existed around the same time as early Mesopotamia, and we have a bunch of their writing, like a fuck ton, but we don't know. We've never worked it out. They seem to have a god similar, with the horns and all that stuff. What, my video, Roger? I thought I made a good video. I thought it was a good stream. No, it is. It's fucking abysmal, isn't it? But that's why this stuff it's not for you and me. It's not for them. It's for, like, fundamentalists don't even like talking about it that much unless they go, look, have you seen the Grand Canyon? And it's like, yeah, I have seen the Grand Canyon. But you also know, was it the Grand Canyon a while ago, like a long time ago? The ocean. For a long time. All of middle America, you know, the flyover states that are dead flat. They were flat for a reason, because it was underwater. Like, we know so much stuff that goes against all of it. And it's fun to talk about. I do enjoy talking about the flood. I think making fun of the flood is actually my favorite bit of the Old Testament to talk about. I love talking about it. I've talked about it many times. It's very fun because it's really stupid. I just say if we were all bought, little Becky there hiding in the corner. Bexington Smythe appears. A wild Bexington appears. You know, there we go. Any Christians out there want to come on and either be crazy or tell me why I'm wrong? I'd love it. But no, they don't do it. I think they don't do it because, well, they don't have any proof to the contrary. Because they don't want to talk about it, yo. They don't want to talk about all the what we had. Brett Keane came in, and I don't. Maybe he wanted to talk about the flood, but it's Brett Keane. You can never trust him. And yes, I didn't put him on screen because I'm not dumb. We had a crazy guy come in trying to say that a dove's been alive for a couple thousand years. Do you remember that was the first thing he said?
Yeah.
The dove
Yeah.
from that has been alive forever, and he's got it right now. That's a long living dove. Oh, you do? Well, thankfully, sir,
Break time.
I can do it for you. See, it helps me. It does. It's helped me for many a year. I've thought of that very clip. Anytime somebody's been too doja. It's because Christians are cowards. That's the thing. They like to pretend that they're not, but they don't want to address what you're addressing. And they're so afraid of everything in the outside world being demonic and powered by the devil that they have to have this ultimate control over everything. Otherwise, someone somewhere might not be like them in some way, right? And they can't have that because they're fucking cowards. So I agree. They are cowards. And because that's why they run to philosophy, right? Because they go, look, I can wordplay you and fucking philosophize around you because you haven't studied philosophy as much as I have. So I can argue philosophy better. And it's like, okay, bitch, but I can argue science better. And science says fuck you on so many occasions that actually fuck you. And yes, I understand that archaeology is not science, but I include it anyway. Because it kind of is. You can't repeat it. It's a one-time deal. But I think 1800s where they're just digging everywhere. That's madness. Nowadays, I think it's a bit different because they're actually like, no, we categorize every square inch of dirt and we say what kind of dirt is, how many stones and blades, everything was in it, and they keep track of everything so meticulously. It's insane. So I think it. I don't mind it being considered a soft science. It's not really a soft science. But yeah, all they can do is because that's all they have. They think that just because the book says it, well, then it's all right. But then that's why I like pointing out bullshit like this. And it's like, what the fuck, right? Fuck it. I've still got 9 people watching. I do have more flood stuff to go through. If you guys are up for it. I can talk about the flood for a long time. I got Jennifer Bird was doing it. I say it annoyed me, but that's just how YouTube is, and I get annoyed by things that I shouldn't. She was talking about the flood in her thing, and then I was like, oh, I'm just about to do that. Oh well. And then fucking I saw that she was reading something very interesting, and it's on a website you can get, and it's the different versions of one. Where? I've got to put it on a thing. Where is it? And it separates the story into 2. I don't necessarily agree with all the splitting, and I did bring it up on her stream about one bit in particular, and she agreed because it's correct. Do you know what? Whilst I'm just taking a few seconds to set this up. What takes a little bit? Is that the only thing I've got up that isn't stupidly long? No, not that. That's 4 minutes. I don't want that. That's 30 seconds. Right, that's a minute. You can watch this. Be careful. Before I put it on. There's a little bit that's a little like loud, and I couldn't quiet it down in the audio without fucking it up. So be warned. Oh, I didn't put it on. I just put it on the list because I'm good at this website. Oh my god, where's it gone? I wish this thing had a. It doesn't do it, but it's got like a list of all the clips that I can use, and it doesn't put them in alphabetical order. It doesn't put them in the order that I've put them on. What the fuck is it? I'm just going to search for it. Can I search for it? It didn't get put on. Okay. It's on the list now. Well, yeah. You've got to think, right? Because Amber's right? You've got to think, if these people have been Christians their entire lives, from being compost mental, right? They've been told that a jolly fat man in a red suit watches you 24 hours a day, and he knows when you've been naughty, and he knows when you've been nice. And then when you don't believe in that, they go, well, God has been watching you, and he knows everything you do, little Jimmy, Timmy, whatever, right? He knows what you do. So you don't do any of the things that your body's telling you that you should do. So you got to deal with all the sexual trauma. You got to deal with all this repression of growing up and all that stuff, because it's always watching you. And then you go to church, right? And then it's not just God watching you. It's the people in the pews. Everyone's watching you. Everyone's judging you. Especially there's always like 2 or 3 fucking people, men or women at the front. They're all like scattered around. They always see themselves like the matriarchs or patriarchs that aren't part of the religious group, like they do it in the PTA and shit like that as well, right? And then they're watching everything you do, telling everyone, and then everyone's going, talking about you behind your back. The amount of cortisol that must be running through your brain every second of the day is insane, and it does permanent, irreparable damage. So, right, I was trying to put this on. Where is it? There it is. Right. So I'm going to put this on. I'm going to get this thing rigged up, and then I'm going to go through it.
Now this is a story all about how
If your hand causes you to sin, cut it off. It should cut your hand off.
Kratos! Of the universe. I am the answer to all living things that cry out for peace. I am protector of the innocent. I am the light in the darkness. I am truth. Allied to good. Nightmare to you.
I have the power of God and anime on my side.
Stop that. No. It's going well for me. Yeah. Right, where is it? Tab. There you go. Right, so I thought it was going to be a PDF, but it's not. Is that too small for people? Oh, wait. Got to show it. Is that writing too small for people? Do I have to make it bigger? I'm glad Joel enjoyed it. I need to make more comedy stuff. I do plan on maybe focusing more on making comedy stuff. I've been writing a couple comedy songs. I kind of wanted it at least a little bit done for today, but I wasn't singing it well enough. I was too tired. I've got a Blink-182 cover about the flood that's really good. All the Wrong Things is really good, but it's all sad. It's a sad song. It's really good. In fact, if you go on my Discord, you can see the original version that I'll be ripping off, because I don't have a band to make stuff with, and I do not have good enough musical things to make decent sounding songs with. And AI is I'm too old to understand AI. Am I at the age where I can start saying I don't understand new things yet? When does that pop in? I'm 39 this year in like 6 months. Is 39 old enough to go, do I have to be involved? I mean, I did it with phones when I was a teenager. So I guess I've always been an old man. I still don't have a phone. It's great nowadays. For the amount of things, yeah. The amount of things that fucking, like go, oh, what you like? We'll call you on your mobile and say, I do not have a mobile. I'm like, what? What do you mean? And I'm like, no, I don't have one. I feel like those people back in the day. They're like, oh, you don't have a TV? That's weird. No, I need to be at least 50. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Hey, is this writing too small for people? I need to know. I need answers, people. Answers. Is this writing too small for you? Because this is I'll put the link in the description when the stream's done. I should have put it in first, and that's very bad of me. Because because Jennifer Bird's great. Dr. Jennifer Bird. She has a great channel. If you don't watch it, you should go watch it. She reads through. I was surprised she did. I was surprised she did the flood because she's been talking a lot about Paul and Acts and stuff recently. So I was surprised when she started doing the flood. Because this is the Elohim version. So because and then there's the Yahweh version. Should I do this now, or should I just do should I do a video on it? I don't know. I might do a video on it. Don't know. I feel like I don't want to read it again. That's the thing. I just want to chat the shit. Fuck it. Mrs. has ordered food, and I can chat shit until then. So if you're a Christian, you want to come on and tell me why I'm wrong about the flood. Come on and tell me why I'm wrong about the flood. That'd be fun. I got there's a link pinged in the description. Whenever. Oh, I'll look through the kids' Bible, see what the kids' Bible tells us about the flood. I'll look at, do you know what? Because I did creation as well and stuff like that, and I didn't look through it. All right. Let's actually get to what it says. Oh, it's the New Living Translation of the Bible. This is not the kind of thing I want. I need a new kids' Bible, to be honest. I think it's not what I wanted. But yeah, I don't know. I was only looking in charity shops. We weren't looking properly. Yeah, like don't be crazy. If you're gonna be crazy and start like saying prophecy shit, I'm not gonna be nice to you. But if you want to come on and be civil, we can talk about the flood, and I'll be nice, and I'll try not to swear, but you have to allow feck. I have minimal swearing that I need to do just because it happens. Yeah, I think I need a new kids' Bible. I mean, fair play to this one. Okay, I guess there's stuff like this. I can't show it to you because it won't come up on here, right? But it's talking about Genesis 3. Thumb thinking about Genesis 3, and it's got like a picture of a little kid's thumb. It's got some like writing on it. Read Genesis 3. Adam and Eve messed up big time by disobeying. They even tried to hide from God. Duh! Use a washable marker to scribble on the bottom of your thumb. Press your thumb on a clean piece of paper. Stop! You see a thumbprint? But did you know the thumbprints are on everything you touch? You can't see them, but they're there. God didn't need fingerprints to bust Adam and Eve. God sees everything, and God wants to forgive us. That's why he sent Jesus 2,000 years later. When we believe in Jesus and tell God we're sorry, he'll wash away our sins. You get it? Wash away the sins. You wash them away. You know, like you killed everybody in the flood. And all the beasts and all the kids and all the babies and all the baby dogs and all the baby kittens. All the baby, anything that is cute as a baby, all of them died at once. They all drowned horrifically. In panic and fear, all at the same time. God is all loving, remember? All loving and all nice. I mean, like, fair play to this Bible just using a translation, just put it there. I mean, so fair play to that. Because the one I had was not this size. It was this size and was the whole Bible from Genesis to Revelation, and nothing. It was so bad. Whole chapters were gone. I don't even like. I think most of Job wasn't there. Like, it was great stuff. Well, yeah, of course. Well, yeah, but like, to be fair, you know what I mean. Where's my thing?
Well, to be fair. To be
fair, everything is. Every society is. There is no nice society that doesn't have all that in the DNA of them. That's just humanity. It's just in our DNA. You know, we are the middle ground between bonobos and chimpanzees. Chimpanzees like to build things, use tools, and kill each other. And bonobos like to fuck like a lot. No, like a lot. And we, I don't know, do all of it. Sometimes I think language was the worst thing that happened to us. Made all the rest of it possible. Language, the blessing and a curse. So, because I am now, remember, as I end this stream, because no one's come on, because no one wants to talk to me about the flood, or no one cares about my channel. Either way, I'm going to be ending now. So, tomorrow, hopefully it's me and Jimmy Tux, finishing off Moral's Braxton Hunters book. There'll be no video on Wednesday because I'm releasing videos twice a month now instead of every week, so I can try and like make other stuff instead of just like constantly scrambling to get a video out. So I'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully, enjoy what's left of the day, night, evening, morning. You know, whatever that you would be part of. You know. And I need to figure out how to set this up better. I can set this up quick, I think. Where is it? I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Right.
Thank you. Fuck you. Bye. Boom.